Disclaimer, this show is for discussion and entertainment purposes only. The Finding Gnosis show is a platform for open discussion, exploration, and opinion sharing. The views expressed by hosts, guests, and participants are personal opinions and do not constitute professional, medical, legal, or financial advice. All topics discussed are only intended to spark curiosity, entertain, and encourage independent thought. If any subject interests you, we strongly advise conducting your own thorough research using reliable and professional sources. Critical thinking and due diligence is key. Stay curious, stay informed, be well, be lucky, and don't be an arsehole.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Tracking. How are you?
I am well. Is the music?
There you
Oh,
go. It's over.
thank you.
Welcome,
Yes, I was wondering what was happening.
welcome to the Final Gnosis show. Anybody who is there, do feel free to come on and talk. We are just talking about whatever you feel like talking about. That's generally this show. So yeah, I was asking people to meditate on what is. I don't know. Did you feel compelled to come on here and say anything in particular, Mr. Tracking? What's been going on?
Well, I'm not very good at coming up with topics on my own initiative. What I find happens is whenever I'm in a conversation with another person, suddenly thinking of things to talk about comes a lot more naturally to me. So that's why every now and then I don't mind hopping on.
That's fine.
Also, there have been many times where you invited me to come up on the show, and I told you I couldn't come on because of work or because of family situations. So I felt the need to appear now, to compensate for that. I wouldn't say I
Okay.
have anything right off the top of my head to talk about, but I'm
That's
sure the
fine.
longer the stream goes on, something will
Well,
turn
I
up.
suppose we'll start in the deep end. Your new job, you're a carer on the Isle of Wight. And I'm just wondering, this very important job you have going around looking after people when they're not able to look after themselves, has it given you any enlightenment? Has it given you any pause for thought? Have you had any personal eureka moments in relation to life, existence, and what is going on from your
It's
new role?
it's hard to say. I wouldn't say there are a few things that made me realize, but I wouldn't say that my experience as a carer has bestowed upon me any kind of revelatory experiences about life or the process of aging that I didn't already know. I would say a lot of that I already learned when I was caring after my father last year before he passed away. Uh, there's a few interesting things I learned though is a lot of elderly, moribund people, especially those who are very old and very sick, they have a distinct smell, and it's a smell that I've noticed in, I'd say, half of my clients, half the people I look after. It's a smell. It's quite hard to describe, but I think you'd know it if you'd experienced enough of it. It's a smell like dandruff and greasy, dry skin. Hold on. Greasy, dry skin. Did I just contradict myself? No, imagine the way you would smell if you hadn't showered in days. Your skin smells quite greasy. Your hair follicles, especially on the scalps, are full of dry flecks of skin, and the natural greases and oils they spoil and they have a distinct odor. That's how my dad smelt on the day we lost him. I never really forgot it, and I've noticed that a lot of the individuals who I'm looking after have that same smell. I would say now I got to the point where I can't even notice it.
Okay, tracking. Um, I suppose that's probably something to do with lying around in bed and maybe a bit of sweat as well. I mean, it doesn't sound very pleasant, but these poor people, I'm sure that's the last of their worries.
Yes. Well, it's tricky. What I notice when I'm caring for these individuals is I don't get the overall impression that they're miserable, because they have families and they have people who love them and care about them and who want to extend their lives as long as possible, which I find very touching. But at the same time, in my mind, It's weird for me to admit this as a care worker, though I think I might have talked about this before. I don't feel like I would want to be in a situation where I'd need a care worker. And I wonder how long I would last before I'd legally apply for assisted euthanasia. But it's strange. I don't get that impression from most of my clients. And I suspect this is due to a number of reasons. First of all, they have dependents, they have next of kin, people who rely on them, people who love them and want to see them live for longer. So that's the first thing. Obviously, you can't just opt out of life when there are people who visit you every day, people who literally cook you, bathe you, dress and prepare the bed for you. And also, most of them, with very few exceptions, are in their 70s or 80s. A lot of them are octogenarians. So, and you will notice that there's a distinct difference in attitudes and beliefs to life and death, depending on how old you are and what generation you're brought into. It's no secret. I don't think it'll be controversial for me to admit that older people tend to have a lot more conservative beliefs, and they view life as something that's worth fighting for, something that's a necessary struggle, and the idea of euthanasia is probably something that they would consider unconscionable or out of the question. I say this, I've never broached the subject with them, and I honestly don't think it's appropriate for me to even consider that. But I feel, but given the events that have happened this year, especially since our government legalized assisted suicide earlier I think it was in September, I think it's a sign that the younger generation, people of my age bracket and younger, have a bit of a different interpretation. So it would be interesting for me to be in a position where I'm caring for somebody who's my age. The youngest person who I've cared for as a client is probably in his late 40s or 50s, and he was born with a condition called spina bifida. It's a
Yeah, it's probably
deformity.
it's probably best not to give personal details of your clients, bro. But yeah, just letting you know.
Oh, no, I'm not giving you his name. And by the way, he's not even one of my clients anymore. He made a complaint about me and wished to have other people look after him.
Okay, but still, it's best not to talk about the personal details of people you're working with. You know.
Oh, no, it's fine. We have very specific guidelines for this at my place of work. You're not supposed to give their names. Even when we're having staff discussions, we use their abbreviations. But I don't think there's any harm in describing what his life is like or what condition he has. Anyone who is a care worker or who plans to be one will have to contend with these kind of things, and it's important so you get a realistic understanding of what their needs are. So I had to dress him each morning. He could use the shower by himself, but I had to help put on his splint. He had a little splint on his right knee, so I had to tie that on. I had to put on his shoes and socks and his pants, and I had to unpack his wheelchair and move it to the back of my car and unpack it, bring it back out again, things like that.
You were a busy man.
Yeah, it's like being a parent, essentially. I've now had the experience where I'm basically getting paid to be a parent.
Well, it isn't. It isn't because these people are already fully developed and they are adults, and they're not depending on you to educate them or change their way of thinking or
Some of them, though,
give them any wisdom. They just want you to help them function. So
some of them
sorry.
barely have. Some of them barely have any control of their memories or their bodily faculties. I think I've talked about this before. At least two of them have late stage dementia. I must have talked about them. So that is, it is very much like looking after an infant. Although although it's a big, overgrown and grey-haired infant.
Right. And other than that tracking, as you've been walking around with the lovely fresh sea air, has anything come to you in relation to this existence and what it means, potentially? What is going on? Have you had any religious experiences? Have you had any...
Oh no. I don't have religious experiences. And I wish I did. I think religious experiences, they can be very transformative and very life-changing. I've had many daydreams. There have been many times where I've been walking down my local park and imagining that I one day have a religious experience. I've imagined, for instance, times where I got struck by lightning and I ended up in the hospital. And while I was unconscious or in a comatose, I'd end up having a religious experience or somehow getting involved in a car crash. Because, and to be honest, I think lots of people secretly daydream about things like that because we all desire meaning. And religious experiences can be one way that life can throw an interesting interpretation of what everything is here for. And lots of people, I think lots of people crave that kind of closure and resolution. And it's why it explains why, in a lot of ways, we're fascinated and captivated by cult leaders or people who claim to have spiritual experiences.
Why are we fascinated by them? Sorry, why do you think that is?
Because they claim to have the answers that we lack. It's especially, I'd say, the more vulnerable among us. Like, are you familiar with the Jonestown massacre?
So, yeah, somewhat.
Yes, it was this. It's fascinating. Yeah, that's right. This guy, I think his name was Pastor Jim Jones. He was
Jones or something, yeah.
That's right. He convinced, how many people was it? 40 or 50 people to drink Kool-Aid that was laced with cyanide. In all honesty, I have a very surface level understanding of the incident, but imagine the confidence and the charisma you would need, and imagine the conviction you'd need to convince a crowd of people to do that. And imagine just how devoted they must have been to have knowingly drunk the Kool-Aid. I think it speaks to how strongly we desire order and meaning in our lives, and how desperate we will be in order to chase it. But anyway, going back to the topic at hand, you asked me if I'd had any such experience recently. Sadly, no. If I would, everyone on YouTube would have been the first one to have found out about it.
Yeah. Did you ever hear of Heaven's Gate? That cult? That was a weird one. Did you ever hear of them?
Heaven's Gate, wasn't that was that some kind of HTML website project that people were talking about?
I mean, we can play it now if you want, so you can see it. 1 second. It was a creepy cult that was a bit like Jim Jones. I mean, he got people to basically drink the Kool-Aid, in a different way. Let me have a look, see if I can find him. Right, I'm just looking him up for you.
Classroom, or in old language, a couple thousand years ago, disciples.
Right.
Those who are trying to prepare themselves.
Okay. Nearly there, bro.
You have YouTube Premium as well.
Yeah. Oh, you can see it?
Yeah, I got tired of those ads. It's
I don't know why the sound's not coming out. Can you hear anything? No.
Oh, what is the video playing? I can't hear anything.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
I did press play. Play. There we go.
There we go. I hear that.
Classroom, or in old language, a couple thousand years ago, disciples. Those who are trying to prepare themselves for entry into the evolutionary level above human, synonymous
1
with
second, I've
the
got a
kingdom
phone
of
call,
God,
so I'm going to have to
the
ring
kingdom of
all right.
heaven.
You can listen to this.
We're
I'll be
going
right
to
back,
talk
yeah?
to you
Yes.
about
Yes.
the most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. We'll title this tape Planet Earth About to be Recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us. Planet Earth about to be recycled. Your only chance to survive or evacuate is to leave with us. Now, that's a pretty major statement, pretty bold in terms of religion, in terms of anybody's intelligent thinking. To most people who would consider themselves intelligent beings, they'd say, well, that's absurd. What's all this doomsday stuff? What's all this prophetic stuff? You know, intelligent human beings should realize that everything has their cycle. They have their season. They have their beginning. They have their end. They have
Can you hear me
cycles.
tracking?
We're not saying
I
that
hear
planet
you.
Earth is coming to an
All
end.
right, you still watching this, dude?
We're saying that planet
I
Earth is
am.
about to be
Okay, no
refurbished,
problem. Well, listen,
spaded
you
under,
keep everybody
and have
entertained.
another chance
I've got to
to
take a phone call.
serve
Sure.
as a garden for another human civilization.
It's really freaky.
Now, the reason this is such an interesting time is not only because we're on the threshold of the end of this civilization, because it's about to be recycled, but because of where that finds us, where that finds you, where that finds those who would judge us,
J.K. Simmons.
how we would speak of
The
them
guy who
and how they
plays-
would speak of us.
If you've ever seen
Now
Spider-Man,
you say
the
you keep saying
Spider-Man
us.
Sam Raimi
Who do you
trilogy,
think
or
you are? Well,
that film Whiplash.
I, in all honesty, must acknowledge my father. My father is not a human father. My father is a member of the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. My father gave me, long before this civilization, gave me birth into that kingdom level above human, that kingdom of heaven, that kingdom of God. Now you can say, well, I can't believe that. Well, it's up to you whether you believe that or not. That's not important to me, even though I wish that you could believe it for your sake. For those who do believe it, stand a possibility of a future beyond this recycling time. Now you say, well, according to religious literature, I thought there was someone else that was going to come and be our Savior here at these end days. That was going to be Christ's return.
Do you think you could
Well,
turn down the volume
the
of
name Christ might be a little confusing, or the name Jesus, because the name Jesus, of course, was the name given to the body that mind that was indeed from the kingdom of heaven came.
This guy
And
is
that
half
mind
in
was here
rocker.
2,000 years ago, and that mind came for the express purpose of teaching humans how they could be saved, how they would not be plowed under at the end of the age. Well, we're at the end of the age. So the one, or the mind that was in Jesus, what? That mind is in me? You'll have to decide that for yourself. I must admit that I am here again, that I'm here saying exactly the same thing that I said then, trying to say it in today's language, trying to hope that for your sakes you can see what we have to offer you, for our Father offers you life.
Oh, hello. Is it still going?
Yeah.
Not talking about human life.
Turn the volume down
The
of
planet
the
is about to be
screen share a little
recycled,
bit.
and we see the planet
one
as
second.
a stepping
I'll try and do
stone.
that for you.
Planet
Oh, I've muted it.
stone.
Sorry.
That just
I don't know
as
how to do this.
within a
Let me try
civilization,
this.
a civilization
Actually,
evolves
you could pause
upward,
it.
that
I've
Okay,
each
one second.
segment of civilization.
I've watched
There you
enough of the videotape. Okay, it's really unsettling. So many things that I noticed. The first thing that I noticed is how wide-eyed his facial expression is. That's
He's
now
one
to me.
creepy. I mean, I'm definitely not a lookist. You know what I mean, or anything like that. But he is one creepy looking fucker. I mean, look, he's entitled to be a creepy looking fucker. But why anybody would feel compelled or to be drawn towards him, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, yes, I don't know either.
Would you? I'd be frightened to talk to this dude in a cafe or a fucking whatever, you know. Let alone join this cult.
It's strange. Yes, no. I find his demeanor quite alarming, and I don't think I'd be taken in. But there are definitely people who would be taken in by his words. I suspect vulnerable people who seek meaning and clarity, and who are highly, what's the phrase? Who are highly impressionable and who highly open to suggestion. The things I wanted to remark upon about his wide-eyed expression, it looks to me like he is. I don't want to sound like a pseudo psychologist, but it looks as though he is dissociating. It's
Can you explain to us what that is? Because I hear that term a lot.
Oh well, it looks like people who have psychosis. They experience moments where they feel like they are not in their current body, or they feel like their consciousness is splitting, or they're experiencing hearing or seeing things that aren't actually happening. And I don't know how common this is, or how if this is a key indicator that somebody is having a psychotic episode. But you would look into their eyes and you'd notice right away that things are not always like the lights are on, but nobody's home. That their pupils dilate, or their eyes are much wider than usual. And I don't want to speculate. I don't want to play Dr. Phil or Dr. Grande here, but I wonder if these delusions that he has, if there's a psychological component to it. Possibly, it may well be that he's taken psychedelic substances, and that causes. I think that causes people's eyes to go wide like that. Also, I can't help but notice how much whiteness there is. How many white highlights there are in the iris. It's anyway. It's a very distinct and
His
interesting
name was
look.
Marshall Herf Applewhite Jr. He was also known as D.O. So yeah, he founded and led the Heaven's Gate new religious movement and organized their mass suicide in 1997.
Oh goodness, I didn't realize. I'm only just finding this out now for the first time.
Yeah, you can look it up if you're at your computer. Heaven's Gate cult. There's a Wikipedia page there if you want to read it out. Be interesting to hear your commentary as you read it out, like, you know. Feel free to let us know what it's about. Be interesting, especially because you've never heard of it, you know.
Well,
I think real time.
I think I might have.
Sorry.
I might have heard of Heaven's Gate mentioned in passing a couple of years ago, but I was fascinated with ARGs, or, you know, alternate reality games. These obscure niche internet horror projects which involve the macabre and the mysterious, and typically analog horror. So when I heard Heaven's Gate and saw video clips of it, I must have thought it was just an ARG. But no, the fact now that there's been a mass suicide.
Oh, he was real. He rode away. He Ubered away in his Comet Hailbop.
I got to go down the rabbit hole. Ah, hey, who's joined us?
Retro. Hello, Retro.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Retro.
Hello. Yeah, I've studied the Heaven's Gate guys extensively. This guy had a mental breakdown in, I think, 1972, where he met his wife, quote unquote, at the mental asylum. So this guy had a problem with, I guess, his own sexuality and stuff, and ended up having a breakdown and had a female nurse that he really bonded with, and they convinced each other they were not from Earth. And that's what started their whole movement. And then she died of cancer or something. And then that's when he decided to spay and neuter all his followers and get them to take a ride on that comet.
Oh my God. When you say
Is that
spay
the
and neuter,
euphemism?
you mean he
Yeah, all the
basically got them to
males
kill
in his
themselves.
cult were chemically castrated.
Oh, was that long before they committed mass suicide, or was it at the same time?
I mean, some of the cult members were there for over 15 years before all that happened. So it was a long-standing cult since the mid-70s when they, got into that. So I think it was they don't talk about exactly how and when that was done, but most all the long-term members that were male definitely were castrated.
Wow.
It seemed to make everyone
do you
very
know why?
happy.
What was the reasoning for that? Like, why did he do that? Was that to control them, or was there some other reason?
I think it was to convince them that they were alien as well, to get rid of the hormonal human, feelings that they would have had with their genitals.
Applewhite believed he was directly related to Jesus, meaning he was an evolutionary kingdom level above human. His writings, which combine aspects of millennialism, Gnosticism, and science fiction, suggested he believed himself to be Jesus' successor and the present representative of Christ on earth. And T, he called himself Dude. Dude taught early on that Dude's body vehicle was inhabited by the same alien spirit that belonged to Jesus. T was presented as God the Father, Dude's older member. Who the hell is T? What the fuck?
That's
T.I.
his wife, the girl that he met when he was in the insane asylum, the nurse. But Applewhite was not a heterosexual, so his whole life
was he bisexual? Was he bisexual?
Yes, at least, but he was punishing himself for that his whole life, and that's why he had the mental breakdown and the stuff going on, and then considered himself an outcast and possibly an alien. Had to do, I think, with his original sexuality.
I mean, it's very tragic, but it is very tragic. But it's as you say, he founded this cult in an insane asylum. That's where he got these ideas, is it?
Yeah, with him and the girl, the longtime girl, and they're named after, the Sound of Music or whatever, Do Tu Fasolati, So he's Do and she's T, like the song.
So yeah.
Did this guy? Did this guy ever take psychedelics?
They weren't big into psychedelics in their cult, just being as far as what I know. But there seemed like there was other stuff going on there. And the way their people act is very childlike, innocent. The people that he chose to be in his cult were very, I'm trying to think of the word, like, to describe it, very, I would guess, just people that would have a hard time in normal social settings with sexuality. He was picking people that were very uncomfortable with their own sexuality and their own ability to use their sexuality. So he was kind of preying on people that were low self-esteem, that weren't in sexual relationships.
I see. So it's like I said earlier. It was vulnerable people who were insecure about their bodies and their sexual preferences.
Yeah, he was going after 30 and 4-year-old virgins, it seemed like, to put in his cult.
Maybe they watched his videos, they saw how he spoke, and something about the way he spoke about his body being a vessel for Jesus, and for his body to be reclaimed by the Hale-Bopp, what was it called? The comet.
The Hale-Bopp, yeah.
The Hale-Bopp comet. Maybe that resonated with them. It's really hard to say, but that's my going theory.
I think
anyway,
he took
this
the
guy
comet as a sign after T died, he thought the comet was the aliens coming, because the girl did not get to experience that. She had already passed by the time Hale-Bopp came, was his partner T, and she had already passed. So he took that as a sign, and he got diagnosed with cancer. So he went ahead and signed his whole cult up to off themselves for the comet.
I guess everyone deals with cancer in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, the people in his cult seem like very nice people. I've watched interviews with all of them before they did what they did. Now, these people were very happy in what they believed. They were isolated from their families. They were told to not contact their families. They maybe contacted their family once or twice every other year or something, not very often. And they were supposedly free to come and go. And there were several people in the interviews that did leave the cult for a couple years and did come back. And they considered this their home. The cult was their home. And like I said, these were mostly people in their late 30s, early 40s, or older that were just, well, that would not be in the normal dating pool, is what I'm trying to describe them in a nice way. But they seem like all very sweet people, and that this guy kind of took their minds over, and all in person. Supposedly he met them, most all the members. He did these college tour things or something, and he would go somewhere and people would meet him and T, and they'd just be mentally abducted and think that this guy was associated with Christ, and this would be like it was to meet Jesus himself. And they were just captivated by him and the woman, and they would eventually join.
You know what's interesting? A lot of these cult figures that we hear so much about, like Jim Jones, or what was this guy's name again? Do there a lot of them you hear about in America, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of any British cult leaders. And part of me wonders if it's to do with the fact that in the 1600s, the pioneers and the settlers at Jamestown and all the New England states were the most religious. You know, the Puritans who were escaping persecution by, I think, Bloody Mary. I think that what we're looking at here is an example of the most genetically predisposed to have religious experiences, the fanatics and the heretics, starting off a new colony in a faraway land.
Yes.
And I think this explains, it's a bit of a stretch, but I think this explains why America has a lot of these cult leaders like L. Ron Hubbard and Do and Jim Jones, and there's way more. I just opened up the Wikipedia page on mass suicides, and there's a whole list.
Yeah, the solar cult was in Europe, by the way. The solar cult was mainly in Europe. But I see what you're saying there. So religiously, yes, America has the extremes of the fanatics and the extremes of the heretics. But there is several other cults that are either worldwide or didn't start in the US, but it's harder to legally start a religion in the UK. It's much easier in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's yeah, I wouldn't say the UK is a very religious society. I think people aren't really, that doesn't, the pioneer spirit doesn't really exist here. Nobody owns up, there aren't any homesteads or a lot of farms. Most people live in a small house with a small house, and it's heavily urbanized and metropolitan. I feel like the climate and environment here doesn't really lend itself to spiritual leaders or new thinkers. Just those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, this guy, the Hale-Bopp Comet, Marshall Applewhite, he prepared the cult for death like it was going to be their greatest birthday party celebration ever. Okay, he told them when they get rid of their skin and go there, it's going to be complete bliss. They don't have to worry about anything anymore. Everything will be different. They'll be in this fifth dimensional bodies and riding on this comet with their new, friends and relatives or whatever of this other planet of this other world, the alien people, with their skins and bodies. They would all unite as one kind of creatures when they were there with them. And he was convincing them it would be the ultimate thing to ascend, to go ahead and leave when he leaves, when the comet comes.
That is that's pretty strange. But all those people, they all believed him. They all saw him
I
as
would say I would say he had a 90% rate of. There was only a few survivors of people that did not do it with the cult, and there was 2 that were left to run the website specifically. But most of all the people that were living in the house and were part of this, I think he had like a 90%, rate of the members that were showing up that did go with them, that went ahead and did it. Now, these people were helping each other to death, meaning they drank a concoction of barbiturates and vodka, and then they put plastic bags over their heads and laid down. And someone helped them tighten up those bags.
It's yeah, I'm conflicted on hearing about this. Part of me thinks, wow, they must have really had a sense of vision and direction to have done what they did. They must have been so captivated by this man's words that suddenly life was not a confusing, chaotic mess for them. It's really strange, but I think many people secretly yearn for that kind of control. It almost makes me question whether we should be against cult leaders, or that whether we ought to rethink our approach to what causes the phenomenon of cults and cult leaders, what draws people to them, and what inspires people to start them. Because I'm not a part of a cult, and half the time, sometimes, not often, sometimes I wish I was. Oh, I think he must have been
Why do you wish that? Why the hell do you wish that?
Oh, I don't know. It's just you are outsourcing any responsibility you have to think about the big questions or to worry about the future, and you're placing your hands and your destiny in the hands of somebody who knows everything, whose word is
basically
whose word is the Gospels.
So basically, it's like extreme level of, I suppose, codependency in a way, letting other people.
Yes, I would. I would say that codependency does partly come into it. That's what I would guess, partly.
And what, you'd like to be codependent?
Oh, no. It's not that I'd like to be codependent. It's more that I am codependent, and I wish I was.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Well, no. I mean, I've been there before when I was younger. I was codependent here and there. And I'm just trying to think, how did I get out of that? I think because for me, codependency is like when you don't have good boundaries. Okay, so you're friends with people perhaps that you shouldn't be friends with. It's not like reciprocated.
Yeah, we're all dependent.
You probably find yourself drawn towards kind of narcissistic people. That's kind of what
I was in a relationship with one for 9 months.
That happened to me, and I don't know what it is. They do say that neurodivergent people do have this problem sometimes. They get drawn towards narcissistic people.
Yeah, because think people are like ourselves, that most people are divinely good, so we're very confused by people that are manipulative.
Well, there's that, and there's also, I suppose, it's very complex because sometimes it's like replaying childhood trauma, So if one of your parents was a bit of an arsehole, then you end up kind of maybe subconsciously trying to fix that relationship, or you gravitate towards those types of people because that's what you know, and then you just play out the role you're used to. But codependency, not a good thing, tracking. It's something you need to start reading up on and trying to get out of. I mean, what are codependents generally afraid of? I mean, are you afraid of being alone? Is that it? Like, is this why you're drawn towards these people? I mean, for me, when I was codependent, I suppose it's because I didn't like a lot of the people around me, or I didn't feel like I fitted in with them. So I thought that the people that were giving me good attention, but they were manipulating me at the same time. I didn't realize it, but
Oh,
I was
forget.
thinking, I was thinking that they were real friends. You know what I mean? But I hadn't tested it enough. You know what I mean? I hadn't looked around me, and what I should have done is, at the time when I was a young person, I should recognize the red. I did recognize the red flags, but I should have walked away actually much sooner than I did. From some friendships, because the truth is, you can only give so many chances to some of your friends before you realize they are actually they have got a problem, and
Complete
they're not
arseholes.
if they're not dealing with their problem, and it is affecting others around them, then it's okay to walk away.
Yeah,
Forgive me.
self-destructive and worse.
Forgive me for how I spoke earlier. I'm not actually. Let me clarify what I mean when I joked about being codependent earlier. I would say that I am vulnerable and I am inclined towards codependency. Uh, I have not been diagnosed with as being codependent, and I think many people would not describe me as such. However, I can easily be swayed by people in certain context. I was in a relationship with a woman for 9 months, and you were speaking earlier about red flags. It's not as though I went into the relationship and didn't see the red flags. They were there right in front of me from the very beginning. There were so many red flags. It's like I was in the Soviet Union. But I chose to ignore and overlook them.
Is it
because
you were getting some punami?
Yeah, she was extremely good looking. She was so attractive. I just chose to ignore them. And sometimes every now and then I look back and think, was the trade-off worth it? But anyway, I'd say the outlook
So
that the
the
harmful
siren on the rocks, basically.
yeah, basically. But I think from the perspective of being in a codependent or abusive relationship, I think the tragedy is in the minds of these people is an imperfect relationship is better than nothing. And it's
Wow.
still better than the alternative of being alone. It's it's hard for me to say years later whether I have changed at all. But the truth is, that was my first relationship, and in all honesty, I fear it may well be my last because I didn't plan to go into a relationship. Before the relationship started, I'd taken it as a granted that I was going to be single for the rest of my life. So it never even occurred to me. It was by pure accident that I ended up meeting up with her, and we ended up
That the vampire
getting
found
together.
a victim.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a glitch in the Matrix, and I wasn't sure how to respond because I was so totally unprepared for it. But yes, no, it's the first thing is an imperfect relationship is better than nothing, than being alone. And more to the point, it's as a person, I'd say I don't like silence. I don't like moments where I'm with people and nobody says anything because I fear that people might be judging me. And that's why I have a tendency to fill in the silence with small talk or with noises. Or what I'll do is end the conversation, or I'll make an excuse and say I have to leave somewhere because I have this. Essentially, what it boils down to is I can't really accept who I am. And I think that's
Right.
and I suspect this is part of the reason why these people are lost and why they can be swayed by the whims of these cult leaders. I didn't mean to talk more about all that
Everything's a
about myself,
cult
but I'm
until
trying
it turns into a world religion. Each world religion originally was a very small cult. So some cults have good points. They're there to help. Some cults is just an extension of family. So each religion along its way started as a cult. So, different things for different people, and not all of them are negative. Not all of them are trying to get everybody to drink the Kool-Aid and do something terrible. And those are the ones that make the news, whether it's the Manson family, the Solar Temple, the Hale-Bop people, the whatever we want to pick on. And then there's all kinds of groups that just care about each other and do good in a communal way that they tried to, demonize since the Manson family stuff of that's not the way to live. That's not the way to live. Don't do communal. Don't take care of each other. It's evil. Look what these people did. They got rid of that in the 60s because of that. They didn't want communal living to go on. They didn't want people hitchhiking across the United States. They ended it by saying hippies are Satanists and they like to murder Hollywood stars.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I think I remember learning about this massive campaign against hippies and the psychedelic drugs in the 60s. I think it was partly a secret. It was a government operation. They tried to clamp down on it.
Right. It's good for the world. It's bad for military-run industrial complex governments.
And it's bad for pharmaceutical companies who can create their own remedies for otherwise available, what's the word? Otherwise treatable illnesses or malaises, which can be done through introspection and through exploration, and it can help them turn a profit.
Yeah, turn on, tune in, and drop out was the Timothy Leary, I think, thing with the LSD experiments in the 60s. So the government was very unhappy with that. Once they had their experiments, they were trying to use these things for war, and it became used for anti-war, for people to become more empathic and be more unified, and something positive and peaceful was not what us in the Soviet Union needed for a Cold War. So it was a big no-no. So they demonized it and took people's voting rights away for possession of marijuana.
Exactly. Yep, it has the state's fingerprints all over it. I'm trying to think. Have I actually been I've never really been involved in any religious groups. There was one time when two Mormons, it was really strange seeing them because they were in Woking, England, and I'm thinking of all the places that the Mormons would come to, why would they pick a place like this? Woking has a reputation for being a very tacky and rundown town in southern England. It's the last place you'd expect to find Mormon missionaries. But these two young, attractive women came up to me while I was working at McDonald's at the time, and they wanted to tell me about their religion of Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints. Now, I realized that Mormonism is an established religion with millions of followers around the world, and there are lots of people who are going to get angry at me saying this. But I've looked at the history of Mormonism, and it does very much look like, well, it certainly started out as a cult. The guy who founded it, Joseph Smith Jr., he was a guy who had these visions, or you might call delusions, and he built up a small loyal following and eventually his own army. And what was most interesting about him is that he believed in polygamy. He had multiple wives. And one of the reasons why the rest of the American government tried to have him shot down is because of his views on polygamy, because it was unconstitutional. And it's very unusual to believe in polygamy in any Western countries. And I think it speaks to, on the one hand, it speaks to the level of influence that he had over his followers, that he was able to convince them that this was okay. And the fact that everyone unanimously saw him as a threat, so he was shot down. And there were many attempts to have him arrested, but he had his own private army. And I don't think Mormons still believe in that. But
oh yes, they do. Oh yes. Have you been to Utah?
No, I haven't. That's where all the Mormons live, isn't it? What? You're telling me that there are these secret groups where men, these secret ceremonies where men can have multiple wives?
Oh, it's not a secret that they still do it, and they have the sister wives and TV shows and HBO about it. It's still going on.
Huh. Anyway, the sad thing is, I wanted to like them. I wanted to, to join up with the movement, but it's really hard for me to describe. I guess I just wasn't feeling it. I read some passages from the book. I'm a very slow reader, by the way. I'm rubbish when it comes to reading, so that was the first problem. And they were talking to me in a manner not dissimilar to the chap in the video in the screen share we're watching. You know, they had wide eyes. They were fervently discussing things that were really important to them and had a profound impact on their lives. But for some reason, I just didn't feel it. And in the end, I did not become a Mormon. And part of me still feels guilty for not doing that, because they felt that they were doing the right thing by trying to induct me in the Church of LDS.
To be a Mormon, you have to do that. You have to offer the religion to others and preach it to others. I've worked several million jobs, and I used to do custom picture framing. And this guy came up to me at the custom picture framing window and gave me the Mormon Bible and told me to read it, and hoping I was going to join. You get what I'm saying? But there I am doing my job, thanking the guy for his Mormon Bible, and realizing it's their job to profess the religion and spread it. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, that explains it. That would explain it. But yeah, no, they well, now you guys know there are Mormons in Woking. Well, there were. That was news to me when I first found out.
They're all over the place, man. They're all over London as well.
London.
They called something else though. They called Church of the Latter-day Saints or something.
Yes, yes.
Right?
The Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. I think that's what
they're all over the place, man.
Called.
Yeah. And they go around. They go around. You often get, as you said, two girls or two guys, and they go young guys, and they're dressed in like a shirt and slacks and a tie, and they look very dapper, and they're going around knocking on doors, a bit like the Jehovah's Witnesses, I suppose.
Yes.
Have you ever come across them?
Funny you should ask. When I worked for Royal Mail as a postman, one of the guys I worked with was a Jehovah's Witness, and he invited me to attend his meetings. I went, but only out of loyalty to him. Sadly, the spell, and I don't know if it's appropriate to describe it as a cult, because again, there are millions of Jehovah's Witnesses around the world, but it just didn't work on me. Then. Yeah, it's weird now that I talk about this, how I've attended what may be considered cult meetings, but I wasn't won over or swayed by their cause. And part of me wishes that I could be a devoted believer of a cult, because it would give me a kind of assurance that I don't have in my life. But anyway,
what?
Oh, well, assurance that you know you're a good person and you're doing the right thing, that you understand the context of life in its totality and what your role in the universe is. I think cults are very effective at doing that, and they can inspire you to do things that some would consider extreme or unnatural. I think that's why so many people are frightened of them.
But what about religions then? I mean, I agree with you. Religions are just cults that did well. But what about joining a mainstream religion?
Well, you speak as though I could pick and choose from a list. It's you can't. I don't think it works like that. You can't just choose to join a religion. You've got to do a bit of soul searching and introspection and have
Do you
life
think the problem is?
experiences.
Do you think the problem is your level of thought? Maybe it's just the fact that you're a bit deeper of a thinker than others. And that I'm not saying you're more intelligent because our brains are all
I'm not.
different. You might be, but some people think about life on in other areas, you know. But you're very kind of deep in this sense where you're looking for evidence, you're looking for, some criterion that others don't think of. Um, so yeah, I think it's probably down to that. Would you say you went to university, didn't you? What about when you were in university? Were there many religious people around you? Were there amongst your friends who?
Oh, no, that there was a Christian society, but they only had 7 or 8 members, and I didn't really get out much when I was at university. I spent most of my time in my university dorm just going on Facebook because I kept on procrastinating on my assignments. That was pretty much my entire university experience. I regret it, but uh, I was just incredibly anxious, and going out and meeting people seemed like a lot of work. It's
Right.
so
It
I
was a big
I
shock to
never
you. It
really
was a
had
big
an
shock to
opportunity.
your. It was a massive change, was
Yes.
it, for you?
Brother Marcus asks, how would the panel differentiate between a cult and a religion? What are your guys'
Religion
thoughts
has
on that?
mass accepted stuff, so it's like the millions of people have accepted a myth. That's a religion, and just for 1,000 or 100 people to believe in something is a cult. So to have millions of people accept a myth is a religion, and that means you can make money off of it. And then a cult is something that's less acceptable to mainstream, but it could be just as true or work for those people, and that's what they choose if they choose to have a cult belief.
Mm. I think it's a matter of the public's perception outside of the members of the said cult or religion. Um, and I think cult is basically generally a synonym for something we perceive as bad. Now, that means it's something that is overtly bad, obviously bad. So, for example, you often hear the term death cult bandied around, where people, where there's cults that try and seduce people into offing themselves. Now, that is obviously viewed as bad by most members of the public. So I think, yeah, it's something that has to have something that is overtly against cultural norms, um, and something that is not something that is simply not cricket. You know what I mean? It's simply not something that we accept as good. But yeah, what do you think, tracking?
I agree with both of what you guys have said, though I'd be a bit more specific and say the difference between a religion and a cult is it's what the institutions, the leading authorities decides is beneficial. That's where I'd make the distinction. A cult is something that in the eyes of the state is unorthodox in such a way that it is harmful or suspicious, and it doesn't it's suspicious in a way that it is non-conformist in a way that may
Mm.
pose problems. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
um
there's definitely that element to it, the state and the powers that be, that sometimes comes into it as well. I mean, I can see that happening with like power trying to diminish a group by calling them a cult,
Yeah, and
Um,
not
yeah,
all cults
exactly.
are
That's
bad, you know? It's
yeah.
just like, yeah,
Sorry?
the word cult is used as a bad word, but I don't think all cults are bad. It's just the people in them, like you said, people on the outside deem things bad. And not
Mm,
every cult again is good. So I mean you have the people that off themselves to ride a comet isn't positive from the outside. But I don't think in general people understand doomsday cults. So doomsday
But
cults are they're trying to combine good and evil. They're trying to say, there's so much good on earth, there's so much evil, but the only way to hit reset is for complete annihilation. And that's what most doomsdayers believe, is if you have a complete annihilation, we will be reborn as a phoenix anomaly thing that will be the new thing. We'll evolve to our next form as a group.
but
Right.
the
So
but
the dictionary
sorry.
definition. So basically, the dictionary definition here says a noun, a relatively small group of people having. This is from Oxford Dictionary. Having beliefs or a relatively small group of people having beliefs or practices, especially relating to religion, that are regarded by others as strange or sinister, or as imposing excessive control over members. So yeah, it's basically it's a label put on them by others, and it's that they view them as strange. So yeah, going against cultural norms, or sinister, okay, or as imposing excessive control over members. So not very liberal. But yeah, there you go.
I wanted to interject on what you said earlier. Hold on, I keep forgetting. What's the name of the other guy again with the blue retro? Retro. If some cults may be good, but in such an example, would those people acknowledge that their organization is called a cult? Because I feel that the word cult is inherently pejorative. Like, wouldn't they instead choose to describe it as a gathering or a society or a brotherhood?
I mean, I think most want to be seen as, I guess, spiritual new wave orders or a religion, but I don't think they'll take it as badly it being called a cult. Since the 60s or 70s, some groups that have been described as cults kind of wore it as a badge. I don't think it's, harmful unless you make it harmful. And also, how the public perceives something might not be how it actually is. So for a cult to do anything, as long as it's perceived badly, then that's how the media and the public is going to, judge it. It's not what they're actually, the media and journalists aren't going to go to their meetings and join the cult to find out what they're really doing. They're just going to belittle it, write a bad article about it, slander it. They don't care about it, and they care about what they care about.
And that's what they're there for. And you'll find that behind such hit pieces, there are the elites in society are probably encouraging and paying them to do that for a specific purpose of delegitimizing them, making them seem dangerous and taking them down. We got a fourth guy on the stream with us.
Hello. Yeah, I would call them magical orders is what they go by today. Magical orders is what the cults call themselves.
A magical order. Well, that's a new one. Hey, brother Marcus.
Hello.
Hello, brother Marcus.
Hello.
Your microphone's very low. I'll turn it up if that's okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I am a member of a magical order, so it's just like something I'm allowed to talk about.
Oh, say that again.
He's a member of a magical order.
Yeah, I'm a member of a magical order.
Tell us what you mean by that.
I mean ceremonial magic. So so to join these things, you have to have a tutor.
Is that not a magical circle? Magic circle, no?
No, it's different. Okay. So witches, coven, and magical circle are completely different. So a magical order is just other people that share your belief that you can learn from. And these days, it's just emails or online. It's not, you don't get together on Thursdays because you all live on different parts of the earth.
And what are you learning of these people? And what are you teaching them?
Well, I mean, I would call it the truth. So it's just like what religion is supposed to do for you, what spirituality is supposed to do for you without the packaging is what I'm learning. And then, speaking in Enochian and Hebrew to, talk directly to spirit or God.
talk directly to spirit or God. Okay.
So it's a vibration. Well, the ancients have been vibrating their voice in a singing way in ancient Hebrew and Enochian, and that's the way they receive and talk back and forth to, spirit and God. So, the names of these things are not what they say on TV, Yahweh Vade, it's just like what they want to say is what they want to say, but by turning to the east, west, north, doing your thing, your calculated rituals, like there is some kind of increase of your spirit, like a magnet to stroke a magnet one way to energize its charge, seems to be what goes on with these rituals. You're not killing goats or anything, you're just charging that inner self, which is prana or chi.
I'm just looking up Enochian on Wikipedia. This is the first time I'm looking at this. I had no idea that in the 1500s there was a guy who constructed his own language.
Yeah, John D.
Oh yes, yeah, D. That's his name. No relation with do.
Yeah, it's a singing language. So it's just to connect you with spirit with vibrations. So to speak in this language it's just like you're opening, a curtain, and then you have to close the curtain too. Each of these rituals is made to open something, is made to close something. And eventually you can conduct ceremonies where you're implying or inverting or bringing something in, but that's usually not done unless you're very prepared for doing stuff like that.
If you don't mind me asking, how is it that you came to be involved with this magical order? Were you pressured into joining because your friends were there, or did you genuinely believe in your heart that this order has the truth and the key answers to all of life's big questions?
Well, it was a video I found on YouTube, and it was a very low level channel, meaning not very many viewers. And every morning they were singing to the sun. And I started joining in the song they were singing because it wasn't a language I was used to. So I started learning little bits of Hebrew and Enochian by singing along with their ritual. This was just to kill time, and I enjoyed it in the morning. I had no idea what I was doing. And eventually, I'd been watching the show for 2 months plus, singing along every morning to this ritual. And I decided to find their website and donate money because I'm like, hardly any people are watching. I should donate some money. So after donating, they contacted me and wanted to know if I wanted to learn more.
That's pretty interesting. So, how deep a believer in this magical order are you? Do you agree with all of its precepts?
I mean, I would say no, but that's only the skeptic in me saying that no one can be 100% right. And this stuff is all based on Israel Regarde with the Golden Dawn. So, Israel Regarde, I don't think he's 100% correct about everything he ever wrote, but I think it's a good start to learning how this stuff works. When I say stuff works, the sewing of the thread between you, metaphysics, the future, the past, and God itself. And the ancients knew more of this than we do today. These are lost arts that we're retraining ourselves to learn. And these are the things that the ancients in Greece and the ancient, people that started religions in the medieval times before that and the BC times. This is stuff that was more common knowledge to them than it is to us.
I see. So, uh, forgive me if this is a silly question, but supposing this magical order convinced you that you needed to drink this poisoned drink so that your soul could leave your body and be reunited with Jesus or angels, do you think you would do it?
I mean, there is hierarchy in systems like this, but I personally don't believe in hierarchy. So I would never do something someone else told me to do that pretends they're in a, or ordained or seated position above me. So it's just, if it's something I felt that I needed to do for myself and I had researched it, then I would make my own concoction to drink or ask for help from someone that knew better than me. But for someone just to hand me something and say, this is the way, I don't buy into that without researching myself as a major skeptic.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound like you're in a cult. Well, not to me. Or if it is, it doesn't sound like you're in a nefarious cult that exerts sinister influence over its adherents. Good for you, I'd say.
I think their issue, okay, I'm going to go on a limb here and say the more you pay these people, the more they do watch you and the more they want you to keep paying, if this makes sense. So if you sign up for a class, they want you to sign up for more classes. And if you sign up for more classes, they're going to want you to get a higher degree. And a degree is what we're talking about, hierarchy within the cult. So you're basically pay to play to continue your studies. And the more you do, the more you're involved with them, the more they're watching you and watching you in a way that they don't want you to leave and they don't want you to stop paying in, if that makes sense. But that's, to me, the most cult-like part of the whole thing, is they want you to continue with classes, continue with, advancement.
I see. How often do you give them money?
I voluntarily bowed out of doing all that stuff, and I just took the teachings and what I had learned, and I don't pay them anything currently, and you're allowed to take a sabbatical whenever you want. So this is my long-term sabbatical.
Okay. But you still sing towards the sun.
Right. I still apply the things I've learned, and I still do, 2 to 3 different rituals, probably a week, and maybe 1 to 2 every other day. But you're just building up stuff to make yourself a better person on the inside. Now, this isn't the same as coping or psychological methods. This is, again, you're tuning your spirit, so it's just like an instrument, and you're making your bulb shine a little brighter. You're increasing your personal magnetism and your unlocked power.
That's interesting. Hey, let's hear from Brother Marcus. You're not involved in any cults at the moment, are you?
Yep, I am.
Do tell, if you're allowed to.
This one right here.
Touche.
I yeah.
DNW, how do you feel about your live stream being described as a cult?
Well, 1 second. I'm a bit delayed reaction. Yeah. I mean, in many ways, I kind of got what Retro was talking about earlier, that everything is a cult, in a way. But because we form groups, okay, and other people might see those groups as bad, okay. That's going to happen. But I think my view of cults personally is if they're doing something that's harmful to somebody, you know what I mean? In an overt sense. But if you want to get philosophical about all of this, you could say every group is doing something harmful, in some way or other. So the lines are blurred. It's not a clear-cut science as usual. But yeah, if anybody feels that we're becoming a cult here, do let us know, and do let us know how we can stop that from happening. I like to think that because we allow everybody to air their views as much as possible, we don't go down the road of becoming, for example, a cult of personality. We don't. I try not to have one way of thinking here. I try to leave it open. If you want to have one way of thinking, that's fine. If you want to if you want to seek something where everybody knows what's going on, that's fine. But here we are kind of like an open environment where people can come and explore But yeah, if in other parts of their life they want to go and commit to something, well, that's fine too. I wouldn't stop them. What do you think?
It's like the cult stuff they put in the movies and the magic they put in the movies is always bad because they don't want people trying it or doing it. Not all witches are bad. Not all magic is bad. Not all cults are bad. They just put a wrapper on things that look dangerous. When they put a pentagram or goat head, that is to prevent everyone from opening the book. What's inside the book is not always evil, but they put a cover on these books to scare away the majority of the population.
You think so?
I know so.
Why do they want to do that?
For some reason, it's like it's part of the vetting process is, are you ready for this? And to be ready for that, you have to set aside your previous notions of certain beliefs. And one of them is the positive and negative stuff taught from Christianity.
Yeah.
You have to discard a small amount of belief to move forward.
I wonder if part of it has something to do with scaring away people who are non-committal and inviting the right kind of people. So it's like a shit test?
Well, I mean, it ends up the other way, if you get what I'm saying. So you end up with evil people joining that just want to be evil, that don't understand it's not evil. So you end up with people associated with what you do that are evil.
So if it's for recruiting people, then it doesn't seem like a very effective strategy.
I would agree. It attracts the wrong people, but also prevents a lot of people from entering the door.
Let's hope that the cult that you're in, or the organization or magical order, doesn't involve the sacrifice of animals or engraving of bloodied Roman numerals on the wall or anything like that. It doesn't, does it?
I don't believe that. When I started all this stuff, I was into some books, and I guess in the late 90s, I found Crowley stuff. And, some of it was all right, and a lot of it was in Latin. And I just had a bug to read it all and look into it. And it didn't really feel for me. So Crowley didn't feel for me. And then, I never really clicked with me. I understood and liked some of it, but like I said, it rubbed me a certain way, like it wasn't for me. And then, as my musical tastes and things affected me over the years, I realized I'd always been affected by a certain cult, and that's the process. The process was started in Great Britain and came over here to the U.S. in the late 60s. And this was a doomsday cult from a breakaway group from Scientology. And they got into the music scene in the 70s and up into the early, 90s, late 80s. Their effects were still being felt in the music scene. And I realized how many of these musicians that affected my life that I couldn't stop listening to and kept finding more of were part of that original thing. They had been affected by this doomsday cult called The Process. So I ordered every book I could on the process. I read them all. And then you have that feeling, when you read a book and there's no more to read. So that's when I got into the ceremonial magic again, and it wasn't Crowley this time. And this time I understood it more as a full adult.
Sorry, what was the name of the cult? Is it called The Process, or is it The Process of the Judge of the Process Church of the Final Judgment?
Is the full name.
I'm just reading up right now.
Marianne McLean,
yeah,
she was a call girl back in the 60s. Apparently she slept with a boxer, and her man and his best friend were architects in a school out there in UK. And they came back to school and hired him or experimented on him with their computational analysis stuff they had learned from Scientology. And they just expanded it into a psychotherapy cult, where it was more about how they treated each other than anything religious. It wasn't a very religious cult. It was very psychotherapeutic. And then after I absorbed everything I could, 3.5, 4 books worth of their stuff, I was nothing else I really could learn about it. And they only lasted for 6.5 years before they turned to the Church of the Foundation. And then they turned into Best Friends Animal Society.
I'm just reading about them right now. It's interesting.
Yeah, they're modeled after Swedenborg stuff, which was a very, I'm trying to think, what would you call it, mystery religion Christian guy. So he was into, I guess, reincarnation and stuff that wasn't, full mainstream Christian stuff. And he was also into picking doomsdays out. So it was a mystic Christian doomsday philosopher named Swedenborg, and then stuff she had learned from ancient Greek religions and Hecate stuff and Scientology, and she morphed it all into this religion that was mainly therapeutic, called the Process Church of the Final Judgment of Mankind. And if I could time travel to meet any woman, that would definitely be the woman I would want to meet, is Miss Marianne.
So, based on how you describe it, it wasn't meant to be design. It wasn't designed to be a religious order. It was meant to be therapeutic. So it was meant to be for people
right,
to
and rebellious against the civilized order.
Oh,
So it's probably anti-capitalist, anti-church, anti-mainstream. That's why how it affected the music. The music it affected became the dropout music, became the rebel music, became industrial music, became the music to get away from everything that was mainstream. They wanted people to drop out of mainstream and with these belief systems. And their doomsday thing was they believed when the world ends, all of us, when we die at once, that's the main goal, that we'll rise like a phoenix and we'll be the form we need to be through complete annihilation.
I'm just wondering, where's DNW and Brother Marcus gone? Were they?
I think something happened. I only see us on here too, but we will just say, hey, DNW, come back on. Marcus, did I lose you?
I feel kind of intimidated. I don't actually know a great deal about cults, and now I feel like I'm out of my depth. I'd rather listen more and talk less from this point on.
Okay, yeah. So the music stuff, so Psychic TV and Skinny Puppy have been around since, Psychic TV was originally Throbbing Gristle and the whatever they call it, experiment thing. So in the late 70s, I guess, a lot of these strange musical things started happening. And the Queen of England didn't like them because they were hiring real prostitutes to have these art shows, and they're basically, torturing someone or doing sex acts at these art shows. Coom transmissions is what they were called. And there was this band involved, which turned into Throbbing Gristle, which later became Psychic TV. And he was the last, I guess, preacher or minister of the Process cult thing. But he was after the fact. As far as I know, he was never in the actual cult when they were running, when they were, existed. And him and his band built their own cult called Toppy, Temple of Psychic Youth. And I got into this stuff when I was younger and just, of strange music. So I was affected by the music. And I just noticed there was a pattern with all these bands. And I kept searching for where they had come from, where they got their ideas, and how they all attract me. And then I found the thing that united them, and it was the Process, and whether or not they had come into contact with the Process Church. And Skinny Puppy definitely did, and definitely Fleetwood Mac, one of their members, did. And then
Fleetwood Mac.
One of the members of that band was part of the Process. And then Blue Oyster Cult, at least one of those members was in the Process. And then George Clinton, for a short period of time, was part of the Process.
I know Fleetwood Mac and Blue Oyster Cult. Less George Clinton. Sorry, I was going to ask you to name some bands or music artists who were at some point affiliated with the process, and I'd tell you if I knew or recognized them, because I'm into music.
Changes was a British band called Changes from the early 70s. I have their record, and I love it. And then you have more modern bands. So you have the La Biancas, and the guy passed away during COVID time from the La Biancas. And then you have the I'm trying to think there's many of them, but not too many of them. So Veldoon is a modern band that has a little bit of effect from that stuff, and their other name was Sabbath Assembly, and the band Sabbath Assembly in the mid 2000s turned most of the process, I guess, hymns and writings into their music, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Hi.
So I'm a big
Hello.
Sabbath Assembly. Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Can I
Chick.
say? Hello. Can I just say something fictional?
Please do.
The stuff you're saying about heaven and hell and Jesus and Satan, yes, but that's all written in the Bible. I'm just saying. If you're all going to be judged. If you've been a good girl, go to heaven. If you've been a bad one, you go to hell for all of eternity, which I think is a bit shitty no matter how badly you behaved. No one should have to go to hell. Nobody. I'm just saying. It's in the Bible. So I'm confused.
Yeah, there's good people that bad things happen to on both sides of life and death.
Yeah, but I don't understand. You're talking about you spent years studying all this, but what you're studying is actually written in the Bible. It's a couple of sentences. I don't understand.
I think he was earlier discussing this cult called the process church of the.
Yeah,
what was it
sorry,
called?
I googled it. I googled it to see what it was, and it talks about heaven and hell.
The process church of the final judgment.
Yeah,
I don't
It's
know.
more than that. Yeah, they're considered Luciferian, and that's I don't think that's a good label, but this is where this stuff comes from. So
So they're
Luciferian.
Satanists.
Yeah, that's people believe that. So Luciferian, okay, so they've divided the power of God into the people that serve him. So you're either a Jehovah's, or you're Christ, or you're a Luciferian, represent Lucifer. And they divide everything up in their little triangle. They have a triangle that divides the four parts. So there's four parts divided, and Satan is the other one. Sorry, Satan, Lucifer, Jehovah, and Christ. Christ is the unification of all. Therefore, you accept the worst. You accept Satan, you are Christ. You accept Lucifer, you are Christ. If you don't accept, you are Satan. Satan is the lack of unity, and Christ is all unity. This is according to their writings.
That sounds kind of contradictory. So you're telling me that in order to, you need to embrace the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and Satan. And if you don't accept all four, then you embrace Satan.
Yes, but accidentally, like you're not trying on purpose, but that's what they're trying to say. You are correct, meaning Christ himself had to accept Satan to be Christ, is what they're trying to say. And that means that you have to as well. So, and Lucifer doesn't mean the same thing to them. Lucifer is the god of ideas. Lucifer is the god of materialism. And Jehovah would be like a monk. It's someone that doesn't want to experience alcohol, doesn't want to sleep with a woman, isn't promiscuous, doesn't look at porn. That is Jehovan. And then Christ accepts them all,
Do you know Lucifer means light? Do you know that?
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
light bearer.
Yeah, light bearer.
It's the original name
yes.
for Venus. The star was Phosphorus and Lucifer before they changed it to Venus. Venus is a modern interpretation of that planet. The Romans called it Phosphorus and Lucifer, depending on if it was in the daylight or the evening star.
And fictional, what's your take on the thing about some people believe, and I think it might be true, that Jesus is actually the Son and his 12 disciples are actually the 12 star signs, and it's all just a load of astrology. There are people who believe that. Oh, why have you gone quiet?
I think the Bible is like it's a Masonic guide
But
to how to ascend, and
that's-
it's literal and figurative at the same time. But most people don't understand it. But it's all the parables are lessons on how to ascend properly, and it's not really Christian. It's pagan, and it's accepted by what we call today as Christians.
Yeah, but there are those who think it's actually just astrology, and it's feasibly possible. I was going to say something else about forgiveness of sins. See, I believe no one can forgive me for my sins apart from the person I sinned against. Jesus can't forgive me. He doesn't have that right to forgive me. Only who I sinned against can forgive me. And that's something I believe totally. I don't think anyone has the right to go out forgiving this and the other. Just cavalierly forgiving. I think that is wrong.
The point is, Jesus is within you. The Christ Spirit is within you. So they're talking about self-forgiveness. It's not an actual being forgiving you that's sitting on a cloud. It's you forgiving yourself because it's within you.
I didn't know that. Because they used to be, that's how the Roman Catholics made their money. They used to get these, the whole thing with Jesus, you could buy your forgiveness by telling Jesus all your sins. What?
Indulgences.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. God forgives sins. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think he has the right.
I think the one unforgivable sin is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit.
What, the arsehole that's in charge of this planet, you mean? Sorry, I hate him.
I have a very surface level understanding of Christianity, but I think that's what they call the unforgivable sin.
Is it? All right.
What? Fictional ancestor, was that you? I'm guessing it wasn't. It's DNW. You're playing a video in the background, aren't you? On the
You got some
screen
sound
share.
effects.
But like I was saying, fictional character, I do not think that anyone has the right to forgive sins on another's behalf. No one has that right. Nobody. So we are all sinners. Cooey,
That's
handle that.
I have to bow out for a minute, but I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh, okay. That's
No
all right.
problem.
Thanks
All
for
right.
being with us,
Take care, buddy.
fictional ancestor.
Bye. Thank you.
What I
Thank
would
you, Richard.
say in response to that is, I suppose that depends on how you view God. If you believe the person who you wronged was created by God in the same way that you are, and you believe God is ultimately answerable for everything, then everything is in his hands. So essentially, the reason you sinned and the reason that other person took exception to your sin is because everything that happened was indirectly caused by God having created the heavens and the earth and all of humanity. So I suppose, and in a sense, that would suggest that there's no free will. So by asking God to forgive you, you could, you're acknowledging that you're just a small cog in his big machine, and you are reminding yourself that he has power over your life and death, and he can absolve you of your sins if you acknowledge his power.
Yeah.
That's how I would rationalize it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with that, I'm afraid. I think we are all responsible for our own sins. Granted, some people, if they're starving and steal food, you could call that a sin, but I think ultimately we're all responsible for our own sins, and no one has the right. How would you like it? Okay, so you had a child. Are you a parent? Checking.
Oh no, I'm not a parent.
All right.
I don't
Say
have
somebody
children.
murders someone you care about.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, do you really think the only person that can forgive that murderer is you? Because they've sinned against the person murdered and sinned against you because they've hurt you by murdering that person, especially if it's your child.
Well,
Who
yes,
has the right to forgive that sin? Nobody has that right. No one has it.
This is hypothetical, supposing that I would want to forgive that individual in the first place. But yes, no, in such a case, there's nobody that guy would ever seek forgiveness from other than me.
Oh, but he might pray to God for forgiveness.
Well,
See,
he can
God,
pray to.
apparently, if God can forgive all sins, he will forgive his sin too. Because he will, because he forgives all sins. Sin is relative, sin is sin.
Well, he could do that. He could pray. He could pray to Jesus, who already supposedly died for his sins, and be absolved that way. However,
Yes, exactly.
the law is still the law, and he still needs to answer for what he's done. And my personal feelings on the matter don't have any bearing on that. He still needs to be held accountable for what he's done.
Yes.
And by the way, I could forgive him, but that doesn't mean that I would trust him, and it certainly doesn't mean that I'd ever want to see him again.
Yes.
I think you've got to compartmentalize sometimes between
Oh, right. Well, that's... Oh, wow.
Forgiving and trusting.
Yeah, but I'm talking about God. I'm saying God has not got the right to forgive that sin. Nobody has. And I think that's... Or Jesus, should I say? Sorry, Jesus has not got that right.
If no one has the right to, get rid of it, who has the right to give it?
What? Sorry.
Who has the right to give the infraction if no one can get rid of it? Who has the right to say that you infracted even? Who is another man to judge me? You know what I'm saying? Who has the right to do either one?
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but I'm just talking about sin. I just don't agree.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, if someone can't forgive sin, then who is to give sin? Who is to say that I sinned if no one can even? You see what I'm saying? Who has the right of either one?
Yeah. Well, that's
So
a
does
sad
anyone
truth
have
of
the right? Yeah. Or are we all free? It's a big lie for your subconscious to be afraid.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
We're
fear.
all sinners, all of us.
Sin is if they made you believe you're a sinner, you're living in fear. That's weird.
Well, I don't live in fear. Well, I'm living in fear actually for what the hell comes next after this shit pit.
Yeah, on the outside, that's a different type of baby. The world, I'm concerned for the world, but I'm not afraid of. No.
Yeah, it's going to hell, isn't it? Hell in a basket. Oh. I feel sorry for the animals. I don't care about us lot, but I feel very sad for the animals going extinct. Very sad. Yeah. I feel sorry for them. Very sorry.
Mm-hmm. We were supposed to take care of them.
I believe, right? Okay, if you pay someone to carry out an act on your behalf, that is tantamount to carrying out that act yourself. So all these happy, clappy little Christians, all 98% of them are always wishing about, but I love animals, are just as guilty as the slaughterman who slaughtered them to the corporation, if you take it down to its final conclusion. Because it says in the Bible, any meat you eat is to be perfect and free from defect and not sacrificed to idols. The corporation is an idol. I love this. I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
What?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I see exactly what you're saying.
No, right.
Yeah. I went vegan for 1.5 years. I never felt better in my whole life.
Well, you should go back to it, Isaac.
No, I know. Hey, I know. I know.
It's so easy to be a vegan.
And I was eating all my nuts.
Yes, exactly.
Fungi.
Yes.
Greens.
Yes.
Fruits, vegetables.
Yeah.
Chickpea flowers.
Yes.
Yeah. Biggest probably protein I would take. I'd make the bread of pizza and chickpea
Yes.
because I was gluten free too. I went gluten free, vegan, no dairy.
Oh wow,
And then,
that's a heavy one.
yeah, and I was never felt better in my life, but I was 135 pounds. So I was like, it's getting kind of dangerous. So I
What is
started
that
eating.
thin or is that a lot then, or what? I don't know.
No, that's really low for me. I'm like 5'10".
Oh right.
135. I had like 2% body fat. It was 3.
You ought to watch Hence Herbivore. Have you watched Hence Herbivore? He's a British guy, a great big muscly bruiser bloke, and he promotes veganism, and he's a real gym boy. You ought to see him. Hence Herbivore.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really sorry, but I need to go. I've got to go off somewhere.
Sorry,
hope you
Jim.
guys are able to. I'll see you the next time I'm invited to show up here. It's been great fun chatting with you. You guys
Bye,
take care.
Tracking. You have an open invitation, brother. Just come on whenever you're around.
Okay. When I'm
care,
able
brother,
to,
and
when I
thank
don't
you.
have work the following morning. All right. You guys take care. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Yep, Hence Herbivore. He's a really big bruiser bloke. There's a few of them on YouTube. I watch them all just for fun.
If I spend most of their time like eating, it'd be really
What?
hard to keep up because they're huge. Sorry, what's up,
What?
bud?
Hi, Chickpea. I just want to address your concern.
What? Sorry.
I think he lagged out.
What?
I think he lagged out. He was saying something and lagged out.
Yeah, he gone.
Yeah.
He said to my stars not to come here today, but I have done. Maybe I shouldn't.
Life abolitionism has been abolished by StreamYard. I don't know. He was about to say something, and now he went suddenly quiet. So if you're still there, life abolitionism.
But Isaac, the whole subject about the sin, it cracks me up when religious people which and chit about how good we are. Well, in my eyes, I'm included because I feed my cats fish, so I am just as bad. But at the end of the day, we are all party to this horrible, horrible industry. All of us, even I am.
Mm-hmm. I know that. They've created it to where they own it, and to step out of it, you'd have to work for them for a long time or do the bank system right to get any freedom. You'd have to work through them.
Yeah, no, we're all caught up in it. I do know, yeah.
I was trying to answer a question, but I'm not sure you. Sorry.
Oh, you're lagging out. No, you're back. Take it away.
So can you guys can hear me now? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why God has the ability to forgive sins is because we don't own our lives. Our lives belong to God. I'm not a Christian, but this is what they believe. And this is the reason why all of the, all the philosophers about rights, that they were against the right to suicide because our lives don't belong to us. They belong to God. So if you believe in that, which I don't, then that is the reason why.
Okay, I'm confused now because if
Hello
our lives
to
are owned by
Mimsy.
God,
Mimsy, hope you're well, darling. You can come on if you want.
if our lives are owned by God, and so God forgives us for our sins, how come God incarcerates people in hell for the rest of eternity? What's that all about then? Because he does, apparently. This God of ours is a lovely, lovely God. I love him. Shall I tell you, life abolitionist, when I meet him, I'm going to stab him with my sword. Big sword. And I have.
Well, Chris has got that wrong too. Hell is not a permanent place. It's or the lake of fire is for purification, to burn your sins and cleanse you. It's not really a permanent place where you get tormented. Like they came with that Dante's Inferno thing. Like I don't know. Well, after Christianity was established, that has nothing to do with the original meaning of hell. Hell is a state of consciousness. It's a state of being disconnected from God. It's not for punishment.
Well, it does say in the Bible somewhere he gets sent to hell for eternity, which to me is, no matter what you've done, is a little bit excessive. I think, even if you're a murderer, I think it's all a little bit excessive.
Well, I think that people are reading in between the lines because that's not actually what it says. What it actually says is that they're going to send it to that God is going to send it to a lake of fire. And if you put it if you piece it all together, it's not a permanent place of torment. I could if you're interested, I could go through the Bible verses and actually show you where it says it, but I can't do that offhand.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I don't believe in a Bible literally. I think that is the problem with most Christians. They do take it literally, and they don't understand it that it was supposed to be esoteric.
Okay.
Christianity has been weaponized to be an instrument of control, and they want to keep people ignorant. They don't really want people to understand what Christianity was actually about.
Yeah, but so has Islam and so has Judaism. They all have been.
Right.
You know that if you're sorry. Go on.
I'm against all organized religions, but I think in America, this whole Judeo-Christian dogma is really. We're not really concerned with Islam in America. It's really the Judeo-Christian tradition.
Hmm. Yeah, it's coming over here for us lot. Who is it coming over here? Wow. Actually, D&W, I don't know what will happen when we've got our digital ID and we're all being filmed. How about the women covered in hijabs?
Hiding from the AI.
No idea.
No, but here in the UK now we're getting cameras everywhere, this, that, and the other. We're going to get digital ID next 2 years. So everyone, they're going to know your face, you're this, you're that. But we are awash with women walking around with black masks all over their face, which I think is a bit unfair because I'm not allowed to wear a black mask because I'm not a Muslim. Maybe I should have said. But I wonder what's going to happen. What about all the men who will decide to start walking around
I would
with
also say
their
that the X-ray and body imaging of these powerful devices that read could go through that mask and see the actual face.
Can they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Maybe unless it was like tinfoil. Maybe.
Oh, right.
But
I didn't know that.
if it's like a cloth, X-ray's present everywhere. You just need the right filter to see it. X-rays right now, if you had the right filter, X-ray. But this is pretty thick. But
isn't that
those little
dangerous
thin
for
masks,
all of
bro.
us?
Yeah. X-ray's always there. You just need the filter to see it in reality. Our eyes don't see it. You have to put the filter on. It's always there.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And the devices
I
we
didn't know
use
that.
are very weird. Like when you go to the dentist, they put the lead on you. That's because it's very weird. They have to penetrate that. Some X-ray penetrates, but some X-ray you just need a filter to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Know that.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like all these UV light exists. Like they apparently invented this old device in like the Vietnam War to see like these the beings for the war, and then the public got hold of them and they had to like get rid of all of it, and like they could see into a spiritual world with these filters.
Oh, right. Oh.
And that's what the war was about in Vietnam. They were like these other beings. And I talked to old Vietnam vet. I asked him. He just shut up. He wouldn't say anything. He just didn't say no. He didn't say yes. He just shut up. It was weird. So I don't know. I've heard about it like on Coast to Coast. They said they like if you've seen the movie Alien vs Predator, like the aliens that could camouflage. Yeah. The aliens that could camouflage were the ones in Vietnam. They would blend into the trees and like have camouflage.
Aliens in Vietnam?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it at all. Operation High Jump.
Nothing doubts me. Nothing.
I'm sure you know about Operation High Jump, right? With Admiral Byrd.
No, I don't. But yeah, but I know that we think because I was
Admiral Byrd apparently
Oh,
went on a mission. No, it's all right. Admiral Byrd went on a mission to South Antarctica, met with aliens, traded all rights for technology for the war, so they could test on America and do weird shit to us. And that was the theory that, not the theory, that's what was written down, Operation High Jump. We got in contact with these aliens and they were like helping us, but they want to test on humans and that's part of it. So they traded it for technology, all rights.
Right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me, because
Super-
when I was in the Middle East back in the 60s, I saw holograms of military vehicles jumping about all over the place.
Hmm.
That was back in 69, it would have been, yeah.
What do you mean holograms? That doesn't
But
make sense to me.
holograms. Yeah.
But they
whereas-
weren't real?
Yeah, well, they were holograms. We could see them. There weren't people.
I know,
There were military vehicles. This was back in 1969. And I was on this. I was living on this place called HMS Fair. It was an American base because we were.
Oh.
I'm an army brat, and me and my little boyfriend, we were there just lurking about the way we did near the parade grounds. And soldiers must have been playing with holograms of military vehicles, cars, and tanks and things. Appearing, disappearing, and you could see they were holograms because there was nobody in them, and they weren't properly dense like a normal car is. They weren't messing around.
You saw something you weren't supposed to see. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Precisely. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I was meant to see that. No, but we did. I've never talked about it until I came here. I've never mentioned it to anyone. Because nobody
I have
would
a few
believe me
events
anyway.
like that too, but
They believe me.
they were more like spiritual. Like I was just in the right moment in time. It wasn't like I saw a secret operation or something. Though. I've seen like weird stuff, like spiritual stuff, like orbs in the sky that communicated with me telepathically, and then answered every order I said. They were like telepathically speaking to me. These orbs in the sky, right? And I was like, okay, if you're real, and if you're real and you're talking to me in my brain, shoot across the sky. In a random direction I look, I want to see you shoot across the sky. And I looked in a random spot, they shot across the sky. They did it 3 times in a row. 3 times. I was like, do it again. Did it again. I was like, do it one more time. Did it again. Yeah. And then something told me inside, don't worship them. They're not God. Something told me. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, something very strange going on. Don't know. Yeah. Something very odd's going on. Very strange.
And that was like 3 years ago. That happened. No, 4 years ago.
Yeah. I know about 30 years ago, I saw this strange triangle hovering over where I live. This weird triangle, huge triangle in the sky. And there were reports of other people seeing it. It was a copper color. It wasn't a normal color. It was a strange color.
Yeah, it would probably be some weird magnetized metal floating in our ether and ionosphere and all that pressure. Yeah.
I don't know. It was a strange color. I didn't recognize the color. Almost weird. Yeah, it was just hovering in the sky, and I was walking home. So I didn't stick around to look at it because it was early hours of the morning.
Yeah. I don't know. My friend said something similar. He said this like light being came down from there were 6 lights in the sky above his house, and one of them came down into his room and talked to him and went back up. And he said he saw it for 2 weeks after, but he said the whole neighborhood saw the lights. That's what was weird. He said he didn't tell them. He's like, they just saw it.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa. And he said, yeah, it was like a child of a light that would visit him all the time and tell him stuff and thank him and all this stuff. And that's one of my best friends right now. He's like a deep, thinking. His whole life he had 2 meteors fall in front of him. One time, a meteor shard this big fell in front of him, and he had to dodge it. He said, and then he was like a year later, it happened again. You know how rare that is?
Yeah, I know, but you bit trillions.
That's trillions. That's like more, maybe probably. That's like the aliens.
I don't know any after that.
No, you're right though. You're right. Because to think about they could have sent it to him. Like that's how precise it is. It's not like. And then he ended up. It was worth a lot of money, and that's like. And then he gave one of them to a church for free because something told him to give it to the church, and then one of them I think he used to fund or something his whole projects and all that.
Yeah, I would have kept it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can't remember what he said. I don't know if he has it, but I think he said I don't know, or he was about to, but twice in his life it fell right in front of him. That is like. And there were crystals for space.
Google's. Have you noticed Google's little number is 666? Have you noticed that? Little circle.
No, I don't want to know that.
You have a look at Google Chrome. That's 3 little 6s in there.
I never knew that. Oh yeah, it is. And they're stacked. The circle in the middle is stacked.
Yeah, and their
So it's like
post
this,
box
and then it
number.
keeps going around. Like
Yeah,
it's like a
yeah.
6. Yeah.
Their post box number was 666 years back when they were still somewhere like the Bahamas or Bermuda or somewhere. Really weird. Because I love Google, and I do like most people, but I'm.
It's not. It's a
I
good
hate it.
engine. It works, but they
Exactly.
advertise a
But
lot,
we
and
all
then
love it.
they also put what they want to be at the top.
Yes, we all
Yeah.
love it. So
So it's not like the deep web where you can get anything. It's not like. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use the deep web?
Not in a very, 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 very
No, I've
long
never
time.
done it. No, my brother, you know what my naughty brother does? He buys, he's a security guard working in the UK, and he buys his meat and expensive cheeses that have been stolen from the shops in the West End.
I don't
He
want to know
buys it
anymore.
for
You don't got to
Christmas.
say it anymore. That's fine. I don't want to know that.
He doesn't come here.
No, I know. I just say. I get where you're going. Yeah. I no. I won't. Yeah. I wish I could tell you the stories, but
Yeah.
I was back in my drug days.
Yes. Yeah, my brother's up. He goes in the dark net, and I don't know what he's up to on there. I dread to think. No, I dread to think. It's not a place I've ever been.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there. I've heard there's like a lot of drugs. I've heard
Yes.
that. I don't know.
Yes. And I can cope with the drugs because drugs don't bother me, but it's all the other stuff they watch, the
Yeah.
pornography and the child abuse and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I kind of stopped because I realized it's
Yeah.
like, okay, what is this shit? Yeah.
Animal abuse on there.
Yeah, like weed and all that. Yeah.
Things. It's terrible, dreadful.
Yeah. I don't really know about it because I never would go there, but
I've read about it.
Yeah, this guy named Ordinary Gamers, he's like a huge streamer. He's covered all of it on YouTube and posted it. Like the videos are still up. It's not hidden, but it's weird.
Yeah.
Is that
Hello,
Divine?
Divine. Divine. He lost my voice. I don't think so. Or he's probably talking about Divine, actually. I hate my voice. As I've got older, it's become really high pitched. I hate it. I need elocution lessons to bring it back down. It's cat voice.
No, your voice is great.
Huh?
Your voice is great. Yeah.
No, it's horrible. I hate it.
You might think that. We don't. We don't think that.
I have to keep thinking I must lower my tone. It's cat talks. I spent the last 30 years talking to cats all day long.
So it changed the frequency?
Well, yeah. Well, yourself, you raise the pitch, don't you? Don't you raise your
Yeah, I
pitch?
do. I always do. Most of the time, yeah. It's like because you're trying to reach them on their frequency. You're like adapting.
Yeah, you raise
But
your
tricky,
pitch.
if the cats like it, why wouldn't we like it?
Who's their cat?
Yeah, but maybe cats have good taste.
Yeah, well, they certainly have. You know what? All of them are laying crashed out of my bed in comas, lucky things. They lead fabulous lives, don't they?
Yeah.
They do. They
Mine
lead
gets-
the most fabulous lives.
Mine gets to chase field mice, and then she sleeps in like a little. I make a little cradle for her. She'll get in it, and then I cover her with the blanket she loves.
Yeah. My tomcat does it, and then he brings them home live, the mice.
Oh yeah.
And I have mice under my bed. All the cats running around chasing mice under my bed.
I wonder will Gaia come on tonight. Anybody want to come on now? Please do, because I'm going to have a shower actually and go to bed soon. I'm afraid because I'm wrecked and I've got to get up early. So
what have you been doing?
Just the usual, trying to survive.
Really? I thought you were just sorry,
no.
but that's...
So if anybody wants to come on now, please do. We're waiting for Gaia to come.
But never mind, DW. One day you'll be an old man, and you can stay at home, like me, and get your pension sent straight to your bank account. All done.
Well, the pension is not great unfortunately.
Actually, I can manage on mine. Okay. I don't understand that. I don't understand that people can't manage on it. Granted, I get a naval pension, but you know,
That's it.
I manage fine.
Okay, folks. So anybody want to join? Please do, because we are waiting for Gaia to be able to let people in and out. But because they're not here, there'll be nobody to let people in. So if you want to come on, Retro, Rogue,
Well, I'll start doing it. I don't know how to.
Farhat, Divine, Random, and if you want to come on, Voditas, yeah, the link is in the chat, so you can come on now and keep it going.
So, is your cat in the same room, Isaac? Isaac.
She's right behind me.
See?
I have a chair, and then I have a pillow on the chair, and then I have a blanket, and then I have another blanket, and then I curl her up inside of it.
Yeah, spoiled little girl. She's sleeping.
But she knows. Like, I trained her to, like, I'll be like, up. She'll jump on it, and she wants me to cover her, and then she'll lick my hand. She'll lick my hand like kisses every time that I do it. She's like, thank you.
Isn't she
Because
gorgeous?
it's cold. It's getting cold, and
it's freezing here.
Yeah.
Oh, you never guess what's happening in London. My daffodils are starting to flower. It's November. Daffodils are flowering.
Oh, whoa.
Yes, I know. That's not supposed to be happening. They're outside.
Oh, okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah, and they're about 18 inches tall, about a foot tall, and you can see where they're going to be blooming soon. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah. But yeah, they're all here with me. Hey, you naughty babies.
I've never given my cat catnip, but I kind of want to.
You could buy it on Amazon.
Yeah, I never tried it. I don't know, because some cats won't react to it, but I don't know if she will.
Some cats do, some cats don't. You won't know till you try it.
Yeah, but she's a hunter and she's crazy. She'd probably love it. She'd probably be jumping and doing backflips.
Yeah, they get really high. It's so funny. It is the funniest thing.
Yeah. And hey, once in a while, I'll be smoking my weed outside, and she'll be in the path of the wind, and it'll just go a whole gulf on her. I'm like, she's definitely been
probably like catnip then, because catnip is from the same family.
Oh yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah. So she'll get as high as a kite. It's so funny to watch.
All right, I gotta mute up. The garbage people are here. It might be really loud.
What is nobody's saying?
Are you around?
Who? Me? Why is that? Where is everyone?
Informant.
Oh. Nobody's talking anymore.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I brought some more plant lamps today for my plants. I've been using fake light. It really does work.
That's good.
Yeah, because the light in London is so weird. We haven't had proper light for weeks.
Very
That's
gray.
strange. Yeah. You don't have any plants, do you, Marcus?
No.
Shit. No plants, no cats. Don't you get bored?
No. I have YouTube.
Yeah, don't tell me about it. I'm always on YouTube. Always. Because I don't watch anything else. I wonder if I can get Dave to put on the camera. If he'll let me, or if the camera will let me. Whoops, Dave, look. Let's do. Hello. Whoops. Oh, there he is. Look, there's Bruiser Boy. Look, Marcus, look. Marcus.
I don't see anything. Oh.
There he's got. No, there's my. Look, can you see Dave?
All right, what? I went for a smoke, and then the garbage man's here. It's really loud.
There he is. Look, there's my Bruiser.
Oh. What's up, yo?
Isn't he gorgeous? Grumpy little boy. Are you being grumpy, Dave? Grumpy puss. David. You can see my friend's face. Look at him. Isn't he lovely?
This is a
Brown,
talk
what a
show.
grumpy
If you would
face
like to
you've
join the
got,
conversation,
Dave.
please feel welcome to come on and talk right now. The link is available in the live chat on YouTube. This
got a
is a
really
talk show. If you would like to
Dave's got such a grumpy little face. Grumpy boy.
Yeah, it's like an old man mustache face, kind of.
Yeah, well, he is. He's about 8 years old now. Grumpy
Cool.
boy. Yeah. He likes killing mice. Loves it.
Oh, that's a hit. Like, yeah, the adrenaline. Dude, my cat will grab him and throw him in the air. It feels so bad. I'm like, just kill it or
It's
something.
horrible, isn't it? I try and stop it,
Yeah.
but can't
Can't.
stop
And I
them.
live in the country. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Oh, you lucky thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes,
live in
yeah,
the
I'll
middle
say
of
that
the city. But
Well, that's one of the reasons that I like cats, but vegans say that that is unethical. It's not like I'm encouraging them to do it. They do it because that's what they want to do.
yes. Yeah, no,
It's in
don't
their
Do you
tell me.
think that is problematic?
Don't tell me
It's a
about
balance.
it. You know,
Because the
abolitionists.
mice would overrun if there weren't, like, there's a food chain of life. They would
Yes.
overrun if these things weren't in place. That's how it works. It's weird.
It's horrible. I don't like it. But have you ever
I
heard
don't
of that guy? What's his name? Dean Schneider. He's got a colony of lions. He's a member of the colony, and he's been getting vegans giving him a hard time because he feeds his lions on meat, obviously, because you can't feed it. Anyway, he made a film where he showed trying to feed his lions on apples and oranges and things, and they didn't want to know, obviously. But I've had rows on here over it, quite a few, because I'm a vegan, but my cats are not. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear news, bad for baby. Why, Divine? What sad news? He's just a grumpy boy, Divine. He's a grumpy little tomcat.
So you house
He's super
and
chill,
feed a
though.
meat eater. Ooh.
Oh God, no! Someone's just. I'm so
Oh.
sorry.
What?
I know how you feel. I know how you feel. It's horrible. He's lost his cat. Oh God.
Yeah. I don't even want to. I'm not ready for that day, and I think about it once in a while. But I know it's part of it, so I know it has to
Part of
happen.
it.
I try
I've
not to
got-
think about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a graveyard outside. I've got about 10 of them buried out there. Because I've always had lots of them. I've
Oh
lived in
wow,
some
guys!
places.
Retro, remember Retro left? He didn't tell us.
Yeah.
He actually went to bury his cat.
I know.
Rest in peace,
Wow.
furry friend.
Yeah. It was sad.
Much love.
Heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to lose a cat. Yeah, I know how he feels. Yeah, I've got a graveyard outside my bedroom window. Load of cats.
Mhm.
Because I've lived here for so long.
Yeah.
Divine,
I'll
feel
plug
free
in
to
my
come on.
cat
Everybody, feel free to
tattooed
come
on
back
me.
on now.
What?
The link's in the chat.
Yeah, I'll plug in my cat tattooed on me, the face. I'll get her face tattooed on me.
yeah, check. My cats have tattooed themselves on my soul. They clawed the way right in.
Yeah.
Retro
Yeah.
said his beloved cat had a long, eventful life,
For life.
and he'd been treating him for a couple of years to prolong his effort to live. He was very special.
Yes, I can
Mm.
well believe it.
Mhm.
It's heartbreaking.
Much love.
It's horrible, heartbreaking. It's something you never get used to. Never, ever. Because, yeah. And I suppose, Isaac, your little girl is spoiled to death, yes? Yes.
She's currently eating food with like treats mixed into it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I bet you spend more money on her food than your own. I know I do.
Oh no.
Mine-
I mean, no. But I get her the better shit. But my mom usually helps out and just does it.
Oh, lucky you. Because I was
Well,
helping
because
you.
she has a cat too, so she
Oh,
just
right.
kind of does. She kind of gets it, and then we. That's, yeah. I rarely ever have to even.
Yeah, I feed mine a lot on TUNA. I don't say the word because they all go belting off to the kitchen.
Yeah, I know.
So they know the word.
We have a nephew. We have to spell out some of the words because he'll
Yeah.
hear the.
Yeah, I have to do it with the cats. Yeah. I actually have to spell things out because they know.
Yeah, like
But
we
when I
can't say popsicle. He'll go crazy.
That's funny, isn't
You have
it?
to say like POP. We have or
Yeah.
something like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. I do it with them. Yeah, cats. But I love them to death. And I tell you something, if I didn't have them, there'd be nothing to live for anymore. There'd be nothing. Because they're the only love I feel. I'm not happy, that's the
I
way
think
it
we were
is.
made to take care of this world, take care of the plants
Yeah.
and animals.
Yes. You know what? If the world was like that, I'd be happy here.
Yeah, it would be so nice because everyone would be nurturing and caring,
Yes.
and we
We'd
wouldn't
all be
be in like a competitive nature. We would be in
Yeah,
a
exactly.
harmonious nature.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's so simple. Take care of the plants and animals, and then they'll take care of you.
Yeah. I'd be
So
happy
simple.
here. But
Yeah.
this whole 92 billion thing every year, and that's just the land animals, it just ruins my whole day. It always has done.
Yeah.
It makes me
I mean, I
sick.
know there's a reincarnation process, and who knows what happens to those souls. I don't know because they died for like a cause,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't know what the cause is. Humanity is unfolding. Something should happen. Hopefully, that
Yes.
is
Something
positive.
very sinister is going to happen to us lot.
No, I'm saying the opposite should happen, but I think before it happens, there might be something very sinister. Yeah, but I think I don't know. Humanity's supposed to harmonize. Like I think we're supposed to. At some
Yeah,
point,
we're
it will happen.
supposed to, yes. But we've
I,
invented weapons.
yeah, and
That's it.
hate and anger and media and news and subconscious
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
Mm. We've invented horrible things. And,
Yep.
to be fair, we must have invented our first weapons in order to kill animals and just gone on from there. I'm very anti. I'm really quite anti. But I do
That's
feed
on
my
point.
cats on fish.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's really good for them, like their brain, their skin, their fur, the oils.
Yes.
And like
Yes.
in nature, I mean, they could fish, they can hunt, like they could go in small streams and get that stuff all the time.
Stuff, yeah. And if I had to kill a fish to do it in there, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody was criticizing me for feeding a cat raw meat, and I'm like, do you not realize what they eat in nature? Like, they don't eat like meat flavored cornmeal. Like that's not their natural diet. Like
exactly.
What people think cats are.
Yes. I'm really getting fed up with it because I'm a member of the vegan movement, and now I'm being sort of pushed aside because I'm no longer vegan because I feed my cats.
You're no longer vegan? Oh, why'd
Yeah,
you
I'm
quit?
no longer vegan to them. I am still a vegan, but I'm not
You-
deemed to be a vegan anymore
Why aren't you deemed?
because I feed my cats on fish.
Well, just don't do that.
What?
Just don't do it.
Do they have to have that kind of diet? They can't
Yeah, but
just
the
eat like
vegans say you don't
strawberries.
have to.
No.
The people online say you don't have to, so just do that.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
What-
It's
what else are they gonna eat?
The world's be getting.
Well, they'll eat what the people online say.
I'm joking. I know you're joking, but I'm trying to figure out what would they eat.
Well,
Lab
no,
meat?
the Bible says it too. Like we could just make up anything.
There's some type
Yeah, I
of
don't know.
processed plant-based cat food, which who knows if that's healthy.
Well, it's not because there's an article today I read by some vet. It was online, and
There we
he was
go.
talking about the fact that it will cause diabetes in cats at the age of 8. So that is deemed to be an old cat. Well, my cats live until they're 15, 16, 20 even. So an 8-year-old
What if
cat.
I show you a study that
that's
says
full
otherwise? What would
lifespan.
you say?
What?
What if I show you contrary evidence?
What? Yeah, I know there is contrary evidence.
No.
Apparently, it's really good for them, this vegan cat food. I know.
So, what do you say about those studies?
I'm afraid I think the same. I think it's a load of.
Well, I think going vegan is a load of shit. So what now?
Well, that's fair enough. I haven't, yeah.
Yeah, I went vegan for a year and a half.
Well,
I will say,
according to some studies, is bad for you, so I shouldn't go vegan,
yeah,
right?
I was
Yeah.
135 pounds. That's why I went back to meat. I was kind of, I was vegan for a year and a half. I will say my chemistry felt better. I was a better athlete, but I was just skinny. That was the problem.
So you just
Yes,
need
it
to
does
eat
keep
more.
me thin. I weigh 7
Well,
stone 10 and I'm really pleased about it.
Wait, so you just need more calories? Is that it?
Yes, just need more calories.
maybe that was what it was. But I was doing oils, heavy beans, heavy pine nuts, heavy fungi, heavy fruits, vegetables. It wasn't like I
That's
was
not many
135,
calories.
135, bro. Like that's
Yeah.
not, it's not good. But I
Yeah.
was vegan. So I did it for a year and a half, and I will say my spiritual life felt better. My dream life was better. My
You
mentality was better.
and you got a better aura too, because I tell you
Yes.
something, I was married to a meat eater and we split over this, and I could always tell when he'd been on the meat during his lunch hour, because the rule was, oh, you can eat meat during the day, but don't come home eating it. And I could see it from him when he'd been out eating the meat, and I could
Well,
actually sense
I don't
it.
get it. Like,
It's
What?
not just the calories, though. Meat is digested differently from plants. Like meat digests very slowly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's so satiated for a long time. But plants are not going to do that. You're going to have to continue eating constantly on a vegan diet.
Yeah.
All day. I was eating like as much as possible with hella oils, like avocado, olive oils, because I needed that extra
wait,
boost.
Isaac, if you felt better, why did you stop?
I just thought I was too skinny, and I kind of,
But you
I don't
said
know.
you felt better. Like, did you
I
go to the
did.
doctor? And
I was fine.
if
No,
you
I was
feel
like the
better and you're
best
spiritually
health
better
wise.
and physically nothing's wrong with you, why'd you stop?
Maybe I gave in. You're right. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I kind of was worried that I was 135 pounds. Like, kind of scary.
You need to watch Henry before
Maybe
he'll give
that's
you
okay
nice
for.
recipes for
But I
cooking.
assume that you must have changed your belief system on veganism because most of them would say even if they lose weight, they're still going to stick to it. So I'm not saying that you should have stuck to it, but I'm assuming that your belief system on veganism must have changed.
It did. It just kind of made me. I mean, I know it's possible, but I didn't want to be that skinny. I could have stayed with it and probably still been alive. Yes, but I didn't want to be that skinny. I couldn't
Nothing
figure
What
out.
beats
Nothing
What
would
was
make
your
me gain
belief
weight.
system on veganism to begin with? Like, what was veganism to
I
you?
had a friend that I lived with, and I was at his house, and he said there's no meat allowed. So that's where it started. And I liked
good
it.
for
I
him.
like, yeah,
I want one of them. That's what I wanted.
yeah. And then
A
it
man
started
like
with that,
that.
and I was like, "Hey, you're right." And we were eating like organic, homemade hummus, and like getting all the beets and like making beet chips and dipping it in with like everything you could think of. This guy knew how to do it vegan style, and I was like, "Okay, I like your style."
Yeah, but
And
what was the
I
belief
swallowed it for a
system?
year and a half.
But
Yeah.
why did you like? I don't understand. Like, what was your belief system or the value system, and like what? So your roommate ate plants, and you thought you should eat plants. Is that the full extent of it?
Not the full extent of it. I had one really deep like magical squares. You probably know what I'm talking about. Trip, and I went to In and Out the next day, the morning after, and I was like, I bit into the burger, and I was like, wait, this is weird. Why are we eating meat here? Why are they harvested? And why is all this shit? And everything hit my brain at once. I still ate the burger, but it made me think about it for the first time in my life. Was the day after I took magical squares, and so that was a seed. It was probably a seed of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
LSD, right?
Yeah, I just didn't want to say it because the host's not here and stuff. So
So you did drugs, and then
I didn't know if you're supposed to say that word, so I was just kind of dodging it. But yeah,
you felt that eating meat was wrong.
after that, my brain woke up and it did feel that way, but I didn't catch on. That was like 3 years later. I went vegan or 2. So it was
Okay,
a thought I had in my brain though. What's
but
up?
was it based on the definition of veganism, the elimination of animal exploitation as far as possible and practicable, or was it based on something else?
I don't know. It was like health wise. Also, I was allergic to dairy and eggs and wheat, so that was already out of my diet basically. And then I was like, okay, I'll take meat out there, and then I felt better. I just kind of saw what happened too. There's a lot of reasons, but the main reason was I moved into a vegan's house, and he said no meat, bro. and so I had to.
Do you think
I
there's a
had to.
difference between eating
I
a
would have loved
plant-based
him.
diet and
He was tight. He was a
ethical
Gnostic.
veganism?
He believed in the Gnostic text.
Wow.
That's what I was just talking about. A lot of people don't go vegan for animals. They go vegan for other vegans because that's what they think is important. And they don't realize that. They don't realize that somebody is giving something up in order to make them happy.
Yeah, but I was also like being in respect. Like, I'll take on other people's cultures and try to experiment with their cultures and see what they're about because he said he was benefiting from it. He said he felt better. Like, he was giving me the whole explanation of how he feels healthier. We only bought organic food. Like, we were organic vegans, no wheat, milk, dairy, eggs, like nothing. So, and I just kind of learned from a teacher. He's like, I learned something from this, so I adopted it and learned from it. I'm not like I didn't just. It wasn't to please him. It was like I was intrigued. I was interested.
What I'm
So,
saying is not reciprocal because a lot of people will compromise to accommodate vegans and accept their lifestyle, but they're not willing to accommodate other people. Like, for example, when it comes to anti-natalism, they will outright reject it, but they still want you to accept veganism without any trade-off. So I just think that it goes one way, and they don't ever want to reciprocate.
I'm
yeah,
confused
I
by
can see
that
what you're
objection
saying.
because there are vegan
But that's not how
anti-natives.
this vegan was. He was very respectful. I think if I talked to him and said, hey, like if I really needed like whatever, he probably would have been like, okay. But I was like, I wanted to. I was like interested. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
How do
I
you
don't know.
how
But I get what
do
you're
you,
saying. Like you're saying a lot of them will like kind of like a leftist woke person. They want you to just go in order, believe what they're saying without you even thinking. No,
Right.
for me, I
It's
thought it
just
through.
you should do because they think that is ethical, but they don't care about your ethical principles. And it's just like it's so absolutist that there's no negotiation whatsoever. It's just something that you should do. Everybody should go vegan, and then there's
No, that's not what I think at all. I think with the population we have and everything, and I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's going to be really difficult to feed the whole world organic
Yeah.
vegan food
It's
with the
unsustainable.
rate we're going. However, I did write a paper in high school that said if we had a farm of organic food the size of Pennsylvania, we could feed the world organic food enough. I wrote a paper on this in high school, and it worked. I got a really good score. Everything worked out.
well, it was easier to feed everybody organic food if we reduce the population, but because of the
Yeah,
mass population, we have to mass produce food. So this is how we got factory
this is
farming and
what's happening.
And so they
Yeah.
just think that they can just continue procreating and then tell everybody to go vegan, and that solves the problem. It doesn't solve the problem. The
No,
primary,
but it would make it really hard to feed the vegan industry with like the population we have. But it's possible. I've read a paper on it. Was what I'm saying. But it's
right?
I
But
don't even understand it. But
they want to
yeah,
think the most
see,
difficult way possible to create more humans, and then tell them to have a very restrictive diet and restrictive lifestyle. Like, why would you do it that way? Like, work smarter,
no,
not
no. I'd say we would revolutionize first. Stop production of like all the bullshit. Revolutionize, and then maybe it would help. I don't know. I don't know. Like the food that you get at 7-Eleven has so many chemicals in it. Usually, if I get some, I can't digest it. That's how, like,
and
and then I'll feel high too. That's weird.
And the food that they eat, it's like they go to Trader Joe's and they go to Whole Foods and they think that this is the way most people shop. Most people are not going to Whole Foods and paying $10 on tofu. Like, nobody does that. Like, if you,
Tofu sucks ass. Tofu's not even good for you. That shit's a lie.
but this stuff is so overpriced and you don't even feel satiated. So you got to eat like a whole bunch of tofu and rice, and then like, I just think that they're so out of touch with reality that they live in their own vegan bubble where they have the luxury of just shopping around and meal prepping all day, that they think that this is the way most people live their life. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, corporate wise, is it sustainable? I don't know, but if everyone was doing it at their own house in their own yard, and we had the space, I think we could pull it off. That's
is
for
the
sure.
idea that vegans shop at Whole Foods?
But corporate wise, I don't think we could.
meats and stuff, they're not going to like Walmart. They're going to some like fancy grocery store that most people don't have access to.
Oh, I didn't know I did that. Okay, good to
And
know.
I'm not saying all of them. Okay, let me tell you who I'm talking about. People like Unnatural Vegan. I'm talking about like a lot of those big like vegan gangs. That's why
Oh, well, antinatalism means human procreation, like the big YouTubers, right? That's how we're going to do it. The big vegan YouTubers shop at Whole Foods, and the big antinatalist YouTubers support human procreation. Got it.
no, it's just the ones who I'm talking about the ones who are vocal, the ones who were saying that you.
Yeah, John Williams is vocal. He supports antinatalists donating sperm if big caveats are met. Before Lawrence changed his mind, you know this, he supported human procreation. So
That's bullshit. He shouldn't be.
yeah,
He should.
I agree with you. It's bullshit. They're bigger than us. So if you're going to like judge my veganism based on the big vegan YouTubers, I'll judge your antinatalism based on the big antinatalist YouTubers, which
They're
we
not
know is faulty.
anti-natalist though. That's the distinction. They're not anti-natalist at all.
Well, okay.
Like, how do you call
Hey,
yourself anti-natalist and you're going to procreate or smart? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they have their own arguments, but yeah, I think they're not antinatalists, but they're holding an antinatalism conference, so they're you know.
I'm not talking about all vegans. I'm talking about the perception. The perception comes off as very elitist. Like they're not in touch with the way that they make these demands on people. They don't consider their real life circumstances. Like even that whole conversation about my rat phobia, what he said was so unrealistic that I should just quit my job because I'm afraid. Who does that? That's what I'm talking about. Like they're so extreme and they make it seem like it's rational. Like you should just quit your job because rats have a right to live. Like who would quit their job over some rats?
Nobody.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. They always make these extreme, unreasonable demands, and they don't consider anybody's actual circumstances. And I mean, it's not. I can't say that it's all vegans who are doing it, but I'm talking about the vocal ones, the ones who are out there pushing it. This is how they present themselves, and it's very off-putting.
I agree
yeah,
with
it
you.
shouldn't even be a
But at the same
like
time,
a
like they
thing
harp on
protected.
Chickpea for feeding
It should be a
cats
choice.
meat, right? And then she's still vegan. She just like takes the hit, you know?
Right, but if they're going to say she's not vegan, I'm not going. You're not going to see. This is the thing. You can't please them. Even if you do make incremental changes, or you personally are vegan, but your pet isn't. Even if I were to, like, let's say, eat less animal products, they would still have a whole bunch of criticism. It's just like you can't please them. That's the reason why I'm not even going to try, because they're going to say, "Oh, you're just making excuses." I don't have
Hey,
to make
like
this.
for me, I would say this. I did it like when I did it, I felt chemically better, and if that's the only reason you should ever try it is if you
I
want to see
think you're
that stuff.
conflating
All the
plant-based
rest of
diet
the
with
bullshit
ethical
is
veganism.
bullshit. Like
I think,
unless you want to feel
oh my
like
God.
test it and see how you feel, I felt hella good, but it's not sustainable. Like I was 135 pounds. I don't know. I felt like I was about to whittle away.
But what if you actually don't agree with veganism? It's not just because you don't. Maybe I just don't agree with the philosophy. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I would just try it chemically, like and try it for like a week and see what chemicals you feel or what's your
But why
brain
should
doing.
he try it if he
Maybe
doesn't
that
believe
just
in it?
1 week and see what
Yeah,
these
but
people are talking about.
why should he try it if he doesn't believe in it?
Well, I just because the trying like if you have I don't know, what do you mean a week to go without meat is not that bad. Just see what happens. See, like try to eat
But
organic
why?
food for a week
What
straight.
reasoning does he have to go to try it?
I say chemically. See what happens chemically.
I've gone plant based before. I didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
No,
Now
I
what?
always felt better chemically, but I felt like I've been losing weight faster and yeah, all that.
I felt gassy. I didn't feel satiated. It just wasn't good.
My digestive system was on point too when I was vegan. Like it was like it was like perfect. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. Like, and I would only eat mainly at night because I didn't like having food in my body. Maybe that was a part of the problem.
Listen, I've been people criticize, especially if you're
I've been
online, they'll
fasting for a year and
criticize
a half.
you. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm lit. I said I was basically fasting for a year and a half, maybe. That's what it was. Because like a vegan fast, well, like Daniel with his dreams. My dreams were on point when I was vegan.
I mean, here's the thing though, like vegans have a reputation. So I'm not saying the things that I'm saying is not applicable to all vegans, but I'm talking about the perception of them. And so that's the reason why even if I were to go plant-based, I would never accept the label of being a vegan, because there's nothing. Most people do not have a positive perception of vegans. Like a
The
lot of
word. I see what you're saying now. I get what you're saying. Totally now.
they completely agree
Like
that
saying
animals are exploited, but they don't like vegans are considered assholes. Like I'm just being honest.
You know who's
Yeah.
considered an asshole as well?
Well-
Ayn Rand and anti-capitalists and anarchists and all these people that you agree with. They're seen as assholes too.
I agree with you on Iran. Well, I don't agree with everything Ayn Rand said, but I do agree with her ethical egoism. I don't think anarchists are assholes at all, because we're against authority. We're not trying to force
Yeah, but
anybody.
we're talking about perception, right?
Okay, you're right. You're right. They do think that anarchists are violent, even though we're not. They think that I don't know what they think about. But at the same time, I don't think most people have ever interacted with an actual anarchist. Like they're just like we're like boogeymen. Um, People have actually interacted with vegans, and they have. I mean, most people have never met an anarchist, but they still have a negative perception of it based on nothing. But when you have actually been attacked by vegans and they're just, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't understand. Like, why would you want to be associated with that, even if you are plant based?
I separate the social movement from the proposition. So I hate the anti-natalist movement. I am an anti-natalist. I hate the vegan movement. I am a vegan. I separate those two things.
Actually, live abolitionists on the meat eaters aren't that nice. I have been spat at by meat eaters on demonstrations when I was just standing there holding a placard. I was spat at.
Another thing is I'm an atheist. If you look on online atheism, they're assholes to a lot of religious people.
Well, I mean, I'm an atheist too, but they started it. They're the ones who.
Wow. I'm just saying, like you can find a lot of feminists get a bad rep because of people have a negative perception of some feminism. Like I still believe in, equal rights and stuff like that. I'm not going to reject the proposition just because the group looks bad to the majority. Maybe the majority is wrong, the perception.
I mean,
but even if they are right, just because a bunch of assholes have like just because the squeaky wheel gets the oil doesn't mean that I'm going to reject the actual proposition being placed for consideration.
Right, but I don't even agree with the proposition of it. It doesn't make sense to me. I've been trying to figure out how they agree with it, and it doesn't make sense. It's like you're just sacrificing yourself for what? I don't understand, and it's not even coherent. Like I don't understand how you would just go plant based and still procreate and think that is okay.
But aren't you bothered by the abysmal cruelty suffered by thingy to these animals? I mean, it's pretty horrendous, In fact, it's a fucking disgrace. Sorry to swear, but it is. It's a disgrace.
Right, but the cruelty is because of the need for mass production, which is because of the human population. So if there were fewer humans, they would not need to be so abusive to animals.
Yes. But there are 8.5 billion of us. I'm an anti-natalist. I've had no kids. So at the end of the day, well, I don't know. Yes. Thing is, the whole place is one big shit tip, actually. It needs to be blown up, in my opinion. Oh, I think it's a shit tip. It is. It's horrible.
So the reason I like this is just me personally. I'm not like everybody reasons from different principles. The way that I think about it is that when I'm on, and we're just talking about the diet, not necessarily like going to the circus or wearing fur. So if I'm just thinking about the diet, I know for a fact that I can go to my local grocery store, buy cheap plant-based foods, and live a healthy life. Now, now here's the caveat: if I can do that, live a healthy life on a plant-based diet, if I know for a fact I can do that,
Mm.
what justification would I have specific to me to incorporate flesh of another animal?
I mean, that would be your lifestyle. So if you prepare your own meals and you have time to do that, that's fine. But if you work a lot and you want the convenience of being able to just go to McDonald's and eat a burger, then that is not going to work for you.
Oh, but
But
life
okay,
happened.
if I grant that, I go to McDonald's, they have a meat burger and a plant burger. What justification do I have to choose the plant burger over another burger where an animal was put through a factory farm?
Can I just say something, life abolitionist? One doesn't have to cook when you're vegan. I don't cook. I haven't cooked for, gosh, 40 years odd. I haven't got a cooker even. I don't have any pots and pans, nothing. I just eat everything raw, just grate it. And
So the dilemma for me comes from, do I have the ability to make a choice? And if I have the ability to make the choice, what reason or justification do I have to take the meat consumption route?
Okay. Well, then I'm just going to be honest with you. A lot of people don't agree that seed oils and a plant-based diet is the healthiest option.
actually,
Yeah, there's a lot of people online that disagree. I'm healthy. I can't speak for the internet,
Actually, life abolitionists, I'm going to say something you're not going to like very much, but I look around me at the 98% who are non-vegan, and they don't look too great to me, I have to say. In fact, they look like shit, most of them. They drag their fat little bodies from A to B. They've got no life in them. They're like walking, talking.
But I could even grant, for the sake of argument, that some people would just not do well on a diet like that. But then if I'm specifically looking at my own life, I'm not living their life. I have a choice. I get my physical every year. I'm healthy. So if I'm healthy for many years on a vegan diet, what excuse do I have at that point? I can't find any.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think I don't know where I stand right now, but I sort of became anti-vegan for a while because they were constantly attacking me. I never was anti-vegan until they started trying to push it on me. And
I
it
know what
wasn't.
you're saying, because they are a pain in the neck. I will say that to you.
Yeah, no, me and Chickpea aren't going to disagree on that.
They are an absolute pain, especially these radical ones. Some of them that come on here, because I've had quite a few rows over this. They can be quite a pain in the neck. I know what you're saying. I do know it. I no longer support them. I know I haven't been on demos or anything for years.
But even that, granted, you don't know if it's a good mode of practice to just like reject something based on the group. Again, like what if the perception, because the perception is antinatalists are like a death cult and it's seen as bad. It doesn't mean it's wrong, right?
No, we're not. We're right.
I think it's right. But look online, a lot of antinatalists are, not exactly the.
I mean, a lot of those people are calling themselves anti-natalists, but they're really atheists. But I mean.
But what's wrong with being an atheist?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Brother Mark, you don't. Yes,
I don't have a problem with the philosophy, but I think that the way that atheists are far more aggressive, and they do put a stain on anti-natalism.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Oh, I don't. I'm just saying, I'm not a hardcore ethicist.
Oh my God, are you a soft ethicist?
Well, I don't go around. I talk about it here, but nowhere else. I only talk about it here because
You talk about it publicly on YouTube. Okay, got it.
Here is where I found out about ethicalism. I didn't even know such a concept existed, or antinatalism for that.
Yeah, to be clear, everybody here opposes it. We're against it.
Yes, I know, but I think this planet is just suffering, suffering, suffering. Have you seen how a zebra suffers when it's killed by a lion? It's not a pretty picture, and I love lions. I would be quite happy to be fed to a lion when I leave this mortal coil, although there's not much flesh on me, so I don't think I probably wouldn't want me anyway. But it's a horrible picture. It's horrible. No, it's a real bloodbath. It is a bloodbath, and you should see the way, it is a bloodbath. It is.
Okay, and that doesn't mean you can kill me, Chickpea. What do you mean?
I'm not going to kill anyone. I'm not going to kill anyone.
What do you think ethylism is?
I want to actually help you out because, and I wish I would have made this argument to vegan equilibrium, because he says the definition is to extend human rights to animals. So if animals are the same as humans, or they have the same rights, then killing an animal is the same as killing a human, which means we would be worthy of death by his definition. And so you wouldn't necessarily have to be an ethicist, not a vegan. I don't understand how he doesn't understand the implications of his definition.
Wait, can you say that again? He doesn't agree with killing animals, so I'm confused by that.
By his definition, he says that his definition is to extend human rights to animals. So if you're going to treat humans or animals exactly the way that you treat humans, then when you consume an animal product, or if you kill an animal, then it would be the same as killing a human, which means you committed murder. So if every human is committing murder by consuming animal products, then they would deserve death, which would mean that you wouldn't necessarily have to be an ethicist, not a vegan.
I think there's some jumps there.
Wait, but if you're treating humans exactly the same as animals, how would you not say that it was murder?
I feel uncomfortable taking on his position if he's not here, but I'm gonna try anyway. I'm assuming that it's not an equivalency of exact human rights, but that of basic life. So you're going to take marginal cases, right? That I heard you object to that already, but you extend basic rights and extend it to all sentient life, but that doesn't mean that they get all rights. So like a negative right, just the right not to be used as a means to an end, for example.
Okay, I guess I would have to ask him specifically, do you think killing animals is murder? And if he were to answer that, then the implication would be he would have to be an ethicist.
Yeah, but, well, okay, how, okay, let's grant that. Let's say he said yes. How does that go to ethylism?
Because that is the... Okay, but I guess I need to explain all the... I mean, I don't know if it's really necessary, but if you believe that murder is wrong, the punishment for murder is that you get death. So
whoa, stop there. That's not true. There's multiple forms of types of murder, right? You're the legal guy. I don't know.
Capital murder it gets the death penalty, but okay. I'm just going by the historical meaning of murder, eye for an eye. That if you kill one person, the other person deserves to get killed. I'm not really talking about our contemporary legal system.
Okay.
Most people would say it's eye for an eye, aside from the current framework. If you think that an animal's life is the same as a human's life, then the person who kills an animal deserves to die. which is pretty much what the ethicists believe. They believe that it is exactly the same.
Yeah, this is where I come in with this, because the reason why I am an ethicist is because.
Whoa.
Well, hang on a minute. No, I'm a very, 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 very soft ethicist.
Yeah,
I'm not
soft ethicist.
suggesting
Let's
for one
put
minute.
that out there on the internet.
Brother Marcus, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that humans go around killing other humans in the name of ethicalism. I'm not suggesting that for one second, okay? But all said and done, I think most animals are going extinct anyway, unfortunately. It would be best for them if they all went extinct. Just went extinct. Okay? They are going extinct anyway.
There's a
We carry
difference
on the way we
between
are.
dying
They
out
will.
extinction and
Yes.
killing extinction. So when you say extinction, what exactly are you meaning?
Well, most animals are going extinct. If us humans carry on the way we are with our meat, which we will carry on, they'll go extinct anyway. Because we're destroying the planet, planting constant grain everywhere to feed the animals so they keep engorging their flesh. So they will go extinct before we do anyway. We carry on the way we are. Apart from the
Guys,
farm
anybody watching want to come on? Please come on now. You've got like 2 minutes. I'm going to leave for the night, but I'll leave you guys here chatting. Hopefully Gaia will come. But in the meantime, before Gaia comes, if anybody wants to come on now, because you won't be able to get on otherwise.
I hope you have a good rest.
None of us want to know.
What?
I'm going to sleep in a minute.
Okay, so
I've had a hard day today. I've had a very hard day. I've been doing lots of housework.
Well,
what did you
if
do?
nobody comes on, I suppose you might as well end the show, Brother Marcus. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
No, what did I do today?
Okay.
Though life abolitionism, are you doing something later? I thought you were live streaming or something.
No, I'm about to be having a conversation with Steve because I guess he saw my video and he wants to talk to me about it. I don't know if he wants to do it on his channel or what.
Like, is that gonna happen? Or
Divine! Hello!
I guess I'll have to check back with him to see if he sets a live stream up or something. I'm not sure exactly how he wants to do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, whoa, what's happening?
All right. Well, listen, I'll end the show now, and you guys can chat backstage if you want. But yeah, I'll end the show. Thanks everybody who tuned in. We'll be back again soon.
Bye.
Love you, DNW. Thank you.
Bye.